What's happening, everybody? It is Saturday. It's been a long week. I definitely did not know what day it was for about half a second there. It was just a moment of like, whoops, I don't know what day it is. It didn't help that I've streamed every day for the last 4 days, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you guys didn't see, I was over on Pep Talk's show last night, hanging out with him, talking about streaming, talking about politics, talking about the left, talking about the right, talking about all kinds of stuff. Good times over there. So if you guys haven't seen it or didn't watch it, I think it starts about 3 hours into the stream. He's one of these guys that does like 8-hour long streams. I don't know how anybody does 8-hour long streams, guys. I could not do 8-hour long streams. There's absolutely no way I could make that happen. But yeah, so went over there, hung out with him yesterday, and talked about a bunch of stuff. So yeah, if you guys haven't seen, you can head over to Pep Talks, and I also linked it in the Discord, I believe, as well. So yeah, what are we talking about today? Well, first let's say hi to everybody in the chat. Okay, what's happening, Alan? Tammy? Etch? Did Woke Mike get banned? Seems like a time that Woke Mike would get himself banned. What's going on, Etch? What's going on, Tammy? What's going on, Jeannie? Let's see. What's up, Jen? Let's see. Sorry I'm late tonight, but I'm like barely catching up with all this fucking craziness that's going on nowadays. What's going on, Roxanne? Let's see. Mama Brooke. Felt like yes, last year, not 3 days ago. Yes, I know. It's this week. Last week has been 3 months. Eric Zimmerman, what's happening? Let's see. Silent Siren, what's going on? There's Woke Mike. I was like, I thought for sure you'd be banned by now. I sound yeah, I wish I was Ren. Right now, I wish I was Ren. Thank you, though, Jen. I appreciate that. Let's see. Who else is here today? Try plugging it in. What's up, James? What's going on? Yeah, that song is by Ren, James. That is Money Game Part 2 by Ren. Yeah, just in case anybody has never. Maybe we should watch that. We should watch that. It's hard to watch it on stream because they will shut down my stream for that shit. Janelle, Dr. Don, what's going on? All right, let's take a look at what we're going to be getting into today. Let's look at the stuff. I know like most streams right now are going to probably be like 24/7 Charlie Kirk killer bucking coverage, but we're not doing that. This shit's brain rot. It's too much. It's like, you know, fucking, I don't need 24/7 wall-to-wall coverage. Like, I kind of hate our news cycle. It's like up to the minute updates, not up to the hour, not up to the day. It's like up to the minute updates. He's liberal. He's MAGA. He's a groiper. He's a progressive. His parents are Republicans. His parents are cops. It's like every 2 fucking seconds, there's somebody that's like, this is what's happening. And then 2 seconds later, it's like, okay, that wasn't what's happening. Something else is happening. Also, there is a fight. So we're gonna do a break from that. We will talk for a minute about it because there are things to do with the groipership, which seems like probably the most likely thing. I mean, it's been like 48 hours. I think we need to let the fucking investigate. Well, I don't know if the investigation should happen. I mean, Crazy Eyed Cash is in charge. I don't know how much better it's gonna get with him in charge. But maybe get some evidence and stuff. But it does seem like dude was kind of very groiper-ish. There's a lot pointing towards groiper. That's all I'm saying for now. I'm saying for now, a lot pointing towards groiper. So we do have a video somewhere on here. Where do we get it? Here you go. Rational National, meme to death, the brain rot incoherence of Charlie Kirk's alleged killer. We've got an IHIP. More cover-up of the Epstein files. We got Mediasan shutting down Trump in a Charlie Kirk interview. I don't even know why I clicked that one, to be honest with you. Trump runs scared after being outmaneuvered by J.B. Pritzker. We've got some Titus, of course. Of course we have Titus. Up to the second coverage, you are actually probably much closer like that. Probably much closer. I don't know. That's just like some the countdown music before the show starts. That's literally just something that I pulled off of my editing software. I don't think it was. It's just some music that comes with whatever editing pack I have. It's a film Wondershare Filmora. But first, we need to start with some stuff because I had like 10, 12 different stories that I wanted to talk about before we got here, right? Before Charlie Kirk went and got himself shot, I was like, I had so many different news stories that I wanted to cover, and it just fucking just blew everything out of the water. Just the whole week has been just absolute chaos. So I'm looking at a Titus video that says an assassination of an ass. Maybe we should watch the Titus version. But yeah, I had all these stories ready to go. And then of course on Wednesday was when it happened. And that just like destroyed that day, as we all know. And then Thursday, I kind of just rammed the covering up of the Epstein vote on Wednesday down the throats of my This Space people. Because I was like, nope, not going to fucking sit here and talk about Charlie Kirk for 2 days in a row. We're not doing that. And we did a little bit, but once again, like I said, I'll cover the stuff that I think is important as the news comes out, but I'm not going to fucking 24/7 stream it. So Thursday, we got a little bit out about the cell phone hacking that's going on by the government. You guys, if you haven't seen that, I'll try to cut up that video this week and put it out. There's all the soybean stuff, the farmers and all the soybean orders, something like 500,000 soybean farmers across America, 0 orders from China, which makes up 25% of all of the soybean orders that go out. So that's big stuff. And I guess what I want to say is this. I've been thinking about this lately. Obviously on Wednesday, I went over a lot about how I think it's really, really just like a prime example of the disease in this country when we see a celebrity get shot and it dominates the news cycle. And there's vigils and there's, he's getting a fucking military burial or whatever the fuck it is and all that stuff. And on the same day, 3 kids were put in a hospital by a shooter that literally walked around a school with a revolver, unloading it and then reloading it and then unloading it and then reloading it multiple times. And nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. We've been so desensitized to school shootings that it's like these kids get shot and put in a hospital and nobody even blinks a fucking eye. But, a celebrity dies and everybody loses their fucking mind and wants to go to civil war. Like, can we do civil war over school shootings? At least I would understand that. Like, I could understand people taking up arms to protect children, to be like, if you guys aren't going to fucking do something about this, we will. Like, I could understand that, right? But over some celebrity that literally made a bunch of money off of causing the very problems that we have here in America right now to be worse is insane. So I was thinking about it, and it's like sports. It's like this country right now economically, like, no doubt, is declining. The dollar is declining. The Fed is buying back long-term debt to buy short-term debt. Trump himself has bought $100 million more of bonds. He's literally making himself money and using the Fed for it. Like, there's so much going on in this country right now that's actually so fucking important, and it's just cruising right underneath the radar, and nobody cares because they're distracted by all the like cultural shit, you know? And I was thinking about it. I was like, it's like having a favorite sports team but not being able to pay your rent. And when your favorite sports team wins, you're super fucking happy. You're so happy, but you still can't pay your rent. Like, you could be spending your time figuring out ways to get a better job or get a job or to, move somewhere else or do something, that's better for you. And instead, all you concentrate on is whether or not your team's winning this Sunday, right? And then when your favorite team loses, you fucking hate life and you still can't pay your rent. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, it's like if tomorrow the Eagles playing the Chiefs was like the most important thing in my life. Meanwhile, I hadn't seen my children in 6 months. Do you guys get what I'm saying? There's like so many more important things just flying under the radar. And all we really, and I think this goes for all sides. It's not specific to one side or the other. I think it's all sides. All we really care about is like what drama, what entertainment is going on. And I know that that's a distraction and sometimes it's a coping mechanism. But we have some real fucking problems going on, guys. So I'm not gonna spend my whole time fucking covering the entertainment shit. Oh, my Discord link is broken. Oh, I'll get you guys one. Sorry about that. What's up, Nina? Nina, everybody's over on YouTube. I'm sorry for you guys over on Twitch. I'm sorry that it's like you guys live in no man's land because I'm not a very popular streamer on Twitch. I do okay over on YouTube. We got about 54, 55 people watching right now. But if you want to come join, but if not, I'm here. And I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for being on Twitch. I do need to get those numbers up over there on Twitch. I'm working on it, guys. I'm working on it. Okay. So let's get to it. Let's not. I waxed poetically for 3 hours last night. So if you guys want to see me wax poetically, go to Pep Talk's channel. I think it's about 3 hours in, and you can go and you can watch me talk to Pep Talks about all the things that I don't like. Right? Okay. So let's start here. Joe Rogan recently decided that he found a graph, and this graph to him has proven, guys, climate change is not real. Which is really funny because Joe Rogan for years was like, this. I was just saying this on Pep Talk show, actually, that Joe Rogan literally created this debate me bro culture that Charlie Kirk used to get famous. Joe Rogan used to say all the time, if you don't believe that climate change is real, then, get on stage and debate it. If you believe this much about something, you should debate. It literally created the debate me bro culture that like has fucking ruined our society, to be honest. And anyways, so he had seen this Washington Post story. The Washington Post story had a graph that was created by a climate scientist. He completely did not know how to read it and read it incorrectly. And this is not new, because if you guys know what the hockey stick is, the hockey stick graph is a graph that shows the amount of carbon pushed into the atmosphere since the industrial era. And a lot of climate deniers will say that the hockey graph doesn't take into account that at one point or another the world during the paleo era was way hotter. And it's like, yeah, of course the world does go through cycles. Yes, we all accept that. People that don't believe in climate change accept that. Well, I don't know, like maybe religious people don't. People that do believe in climate change accept that. The whole point of climate change is that carbon, which comes from things like coal, which coal comes from things like dead trees, that trees release carbon into the atmosphere naturally, and that is this cycle of heating and cooling. This is how we get ice ages. All of that is being done by men as we dig up dead trees and then burn them and fossil fuels and burn them and release more and more carbon. And that's what we see during the industrial age. And actually, the men who created that graph actually sued 2 people that were climate deniers and won in court, I want to say about $100 million because of them spreading disinformation surrounding the hockey stick graph. So this is just another time that this has happened. And Joe Rogan, of course, is now on the other side of this argument. And here we go. Joe Rogan's podcast is no stranger to controversy, but a recent clip downplaying the changing climate has people turning up the heat. In a clip that has been circulating online, Rogan references a Washington Post article while suggesting that concerns about the warming planet are overblown. Overburned? All right, so we're going to... This is... I think this is the video here, so let's see if we can watch this. Okay, here we go. So this is him with Bernie. This is him with Bernie Sanders right here. And I feel bad because it's Bernie, right? I think the climate change issue
is very complicated. And I think, did you see the Washington Post piece that they wrote where they did this long-term view? First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been...
That's like such an oversimplification. The Earth's temperature has never been static. No fucking shit. I thought like every day it was 73 during the fall and every day during the summer is 98. No shit, Joe Rogan.
Up and down, there's been ice ages and heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period.
I'm going to let the scientists debunk this.
That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's a
485 million years, guys. Like at one point during the Earth's history, the Arctic poles were jungles. Yes. Yes, indeed. At some points during the Earth's history, it was so hot that human beings couldn't have lived on it. That is also true. Also, at one point in the Earth's history, it was nothing but oceans of hot lava.
Surprising place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't read.
Yeah, poor fucking Bernie, dude. Like, why are you debating this with Bernie? Bernie's like, I didn't come prepared with my fucking climate scientist opinions. And this is what's wrong with this fucking country. Is every single person has to be, you know what, I'm a climate scientist, I'm a vaccine expert, I'm actually an unemployment expert, a jobs numbers expert, I'm also an expert on foreign war. It's like, bro, there's no fucking way.
That article, but
yeah.
The scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem.
Joe Rogan, who has $100 million contract with Spotify, is like, dude, money will make you change your opinions on stuff. Yeah, I bet it will.
Problem. There's a lot of money involved in this.
Joe Rogan does not read articles. He only reads headlines. And this is
That's because he's old as fuck. Also, this guy kind of reminds me of George Santos. I'm really sorry for saying that, sir.
a perfect example of him spreading misinformation. If you just take a few minutes to read this article, you would know that the researchers' findings actually support the existence of man-made climate.
Yeah, he didn't read the article. He's a fucking old man, dude. The other day, he fucking fell for that, somebody put walls in a fuck Trump t-shirt using AI walking downstairs and dancing. And fucking Joe Rogan's like, have you seen that video of walls? It's just crazy. It's crazy, bro. Like, he's an old man.
Change. First of all, the article literally says evidence with state-of-the-art climate models show an intimate link between carbon dioxide and global temperatures. Carbon dioxide is really the master dial, said the head researcher of the study. He goes on to say that's an important message in terms of understanding why emissions from fossil fuels are a problem today. The largest mass extinction event occurred after a spike in global temperatures. Modern humans have only adapted during Earth's cooling period.
There's a lot of other graphs that Joe Rogan did not see.
This is why it is bad. At the tail end of the graph, you will see a major spike in global temperatures during recent human history. The article literally says human-caused emissions in recent centuries have pushed the rate of warming into unprecedented territory. If anything, the article is actually climate alarmist. It supports the idea of a climate emergency. But Joe Rogan just took the headline, didn't read the article, and interpreted it as being against the idea of global warming.
It's amazing. Because it like just reminds me of just like being super lazy, right? Like I purposefully don't watch the videos before I get on stream so I react to them with you guys. But it's a lot like if I was like, oh fuck, I have a show to do, and I just literally just like cruised the most popular headlines on the whatever, Yahoo, the MSN, Fox News, whatever, and just was like, okay, cool. All right, there's a graph. All right, climate change. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, walls in a fuck Trump shirt. Definitely gonna talk about that. And then got on and just like spewed that shit out. It's just lazy. And to be honest, this is why we don't need comedians doing news. This is why, like, even when I talk about me, a lot of times I'm like, this isn't my lane. I mean, I'm just here to, like, point out bullshit. I'm here to mock stuff. I'm here to make fun of it. I'm here to say this is stupid. And one of the things I'm going to say is stupid is comedians doing the news. It's just stupid. And we've gotten to this point where we're so far into the death of intellectualism. And we're at this point in late stage capitalism where every fucking thing is monetized. Like you take, for instance, what's going on right now with the shooter from the Charlie Kirk thing. The reason that you're getting up to the second updates on all this stuff is because it doesn't matter whether it's right or not. Like, as long as somebody is pushing out something and it is getting clicked and it is getting viewed and it is getting shared, that person's making money. And the funny thing is that we've all moved away from mainstream media because we're like mad. We're like, hey, mainstream media, they lie, they cover up shit, they don't report the real stuff. And we've literally just influenced alternative media to do the same fucking thing. And now it's monetized so strongly that these people don't even need to come out and say they were wrong about something. Like, at no point does Joe Rogan now need to come on to his show and say, hey guys, you know what, actually I was really wrong about that stuff, because the news cycle is so over inundated with people sharing shit that you'll forget about this by tomorrow, if not within the next 2 hours. So he can say this, move on, do some other dumb shit, be wrong about that, and get away with that too. We've literally created a bigger, stronger, more pervasive mainstream media environment. It's actually kind of insane. Okay, at the tail end of the graph, you will see a major spike in global temperatures during recent human history. The article literally says human-caused emissions in recent centuries have pushed the rate of warming into unprecedented territory. And that's, of course, what the dude was talking about. And, you know, the commenters will quickly push back against the podcaster's framing too. Y'all humans have extracted over 135 billion tons of petroleum from the earth and combusted most of it, releasing it into our atmosphere. How can you think that would not do anything to the earth? So a lot of people don't understand how interconnected everything is, right? Like people are not educated. They failed science. They failed biology. Fuck, they failed PE. And then they want to talk about how the climate works, and they have no understanding of how chemicals interact with each other and what causes, this layer in the atmosphere to keep heat trapped within the Earth. They don't understand why one planet is hot and one planet is cold. They don't understand how a planet could be made up of a gas or one made of ice, much less one that could be made out of diamonds. They don't understand that, and when they don't understand it, they just want to act like it's all stupid. They want to be like, climate change is dumb. And there's a really good video, actually, that you guys should watch, and it's by Hank Green. And I believe it's called The Trees Are Trying to Kill Us, or The Trees Are Trying to Kill Earth, or something like that. And he talks about how at one point or another, trees on Earth, before humans, had grown up, and, because trees are trying to survive, just like wheat stalks or other plants do, they grow towards the sun, and they try to block the sun from other plants around them, because they don't want to be choked out. They want all the water, they want all the sunshine, it's survival of the fittest. So in doing that, trees created an algae to try to kill off all the things around it, and actually created this extinction level event on Earth. And he was joking that the very trees that did that dropped that algae, are the trees most likely that we are now digging up as coal and then burning them. So it's almost like they're getting a second chance at it. But this is what I always say, is like, people see the machine, they don't see the cogs, right? Like, when somebody has something that happens, they want to say, oh, this thing happened, and they don't want to know why it happened. They don't want to know how it happened. They want to immediately put their own narrative in place for why it happened, and then anything that conflicts with that, they want to just push it off and act like it doesn't exist or that it's stupid. And that's climate change. Like, there's a reason that I don't get on my show and talk about climate change a lot, because I'm not a climate scientist. I do understand some of the literature. I have read some of the studies. I do understand things like the hockey stick graph. I understand what happened during the industrial age. And even with that being said, I have 0.0001% of the total knowledge of a climate scientist. And it's something like 99.7% of all climate scientists today agree that climate change is man-made. That means there's like one dude and Joe Rogan that believe that climate is fake. It's fucking insane. What's happening, Super Saint? Fedradeth, what's up, fan? What's going on? Thank you for the $5. They don't know the meanings of the words like capitalism, Bonhoeffer's definition of stupidity at its finest. I don't know if I've ever told you this, fan, but a really funny story is that my father-in-law gave me the book Bonhoeffer back when Obama was president. And once again, the irony of that is that it's much more relevant today in Trump's administration than it was obviously during Obama's administration. And I never understood. He gave me Bonhoeffer. I read it, and I was like, I don't think this motherfucker read this book because he was a Tea Party patriot. It's insane. Anyways, go on to finish this article. Thank you for the $5, fan. To that point, the natural climate cycles that dismissers of modern science often point to are what happens with natural cycles of environmental processes, such as trees growing, trees burning, volcanoes erupting, and so on. But only humans in the entire Earth's history have been able to extract fossil plant matter from often millions of years ago and burn it all into the air in a short period of time. In other words, if you want to just talk about cycles, it's like, yes, eventually that carbon would be released from the Earth into the atmosphere, and eventually that would lead to warming within the atmosphere because of thickening, more trapped heat, right? But the problem with that is that we're literally digging it up. Why? Capitalism, because we like money, and one day we are going to all die because of our love for money. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm pretty sure I'm like 87% likely to be right on that one. I'd say high 90s, actually. Some of the same can be said for battery materials, but at least with batteries, they can be reused many times and recycled to reclaim around 95% of those materials. They require some fossil fuels during extraction, but it is a more sustainable and valuable result of that pollution, as the battery materials are not burned into the air, unless it's one of Elon Musk's cars. Those do catch on fire. Another pointed out the contradiction in the host's approach. He says, I think it's a very complicated topic, then proceeds to interpret something he knows absolutely nothing about. And this is something that I've said a bunch of times. One of the big problems. What is it? Reductivism. Reductivism. This thing is this because I have these really convenient reasons for why this is that. It's trying to explain systematic racism to people, right? If you say we have a problem with systemic racism in our country, people will say, no, we don't. You know why? I'm not racist. None of my friends are racist. And you go, oh, okay. Anecdotal evidence. Good place to start. So let's talk about my anecdotal evidence. I grew up around skinheads, Peckerwoods, Featherwoods, 23, white supremacists, supreme white power, whatever you'd like to call them, Nazi lowriders, all of them, Aryan Brotherhood. So from my point of view, it definitely does exist. So that means we have two conflicting points of views, and now we need information. We need statistics. We need studies. We need meta-analysis. We need to look at the crime statistics and look at jail and the fact that the Aryan Brotherhood is actually one of the most violent gangs in prisons. Actually, Nazi lowriders, I believe, are. Nobody wants to get into the fact that I would then say, so when we talk about systemic racism, then we need to talk about how often African Americans are passed over for jobs, how often African Americans are passed over for loans, or the way that they're treated by the police. Things that may not necessarily on their own add up to there being systemic racism. When combined, the mountain of evidence that exists shows that it is more likely than not that it is there, right? But people don't like that. They want reductionism, and that's exactly what Joe Rogan does there. So rather than listen to a climate scientist sit there and tell him over and over and over again all these different statistics and different things that add up to climate change being real, he reduces it to, it's just kind of weird. You know they get paid a lot of money? Yeah, so do you, Joe Rogan. So do you. So please, shut the fuck up. All right. We got some other fun ones, guys. I do think Mother Earth is trying to shake us off, Super Saint. We are a bacteria, and we do eat our environment. So, yeah, I have black friends. Exactly, Alan. No. There is no racism, guys. I have black friends. Actually, I like what Fan just said, too. Environmentalists keep framing it as saving the planet. That's ridiculous. The planet will keep floating through space until the sun burns out. Saving ourselves is what they should have said. Thank you, Fan. Thank you, Fan. You know who said that, Fan? George motherfucking Carlin, one of the saints. The Father, Son, the Holy Ghost, John Stewart, Bill Burr, George Carlin, and Bill Hicks. We threw Bill Hicks in there last night after Pep Talks. George Carlin said it. George Carlin said, all of these hippies, they keep talking about that we gotta save the earth, that we gotta save the environment. Because we can't have plastic bags anymore. You know why? Because we gotta save the earth. He goes, you know the funny thing about that? Earth don't care. Plastic? You think the earth cares about plastic? The earth's going to just consume that plastic eventually. And it's just going to go on living its life. You know who needs oceans? You know who needs water? Who needs clean air and things to be able to eat? Human beings. It is not save the earth. It is save your own asses, you fucking morons. And I was like, that is amazing. I love George Carlin, of course. But yeah, that is it. And I think that Fan's right. I think that on a real surface level, actually, I think Democrats of old really tried this like hippy-dippy, like, save the earth, save the environment. Don't you want to, like, have, like, these beautiful things? And for some people, it worked. I mean, I did a interview with Lowell Bear, who was there and was a big part of getting the Endangered Species Act put into law. I think it was during Nixon. I could be wrong about that. I think it was during Nixon, though. And he was saying, he was like, you know, you got right-wing people and left-wing people on board with the Endangered Species Act because people like Newt Gingrich were like, well, there's a picture of Newt Gingrich with this red-tailed hawk, and he's holding this red-tailed hawk. And it was like, I think the caption for the picture was something along the line of, like, I want my kids to be able to see red-tailed hawks, and so saving their environment is important to me. You know, like, But I think that nowadays you can't do that. I think we're too dumb nowadays. I think you have to dumb it straight to the fucking bottom and just say, hey, dipshits, you're not saving the earth, you're saving you. Like, this is important. Like, the earth's going to be here with or without us, and actually it's probably going to be better off without us, without a doubt. Vendradeath, $5. Thank you for the $5. How can anyone deny systemic racism after all the black people the cops kill each year? That's like saying air doesn't exist because you can see smog. Yeah, I mean, that is. It's reductivism. It's like, but there's smog, see? There's smog. It's reductivism. It's like if I explain to somebody that the original GI Bill... No, George Carlin is not alive. Woke Mike, I wish he was. The original GI Bill coming out of World War II allowed people to purchase homes. This is where God, I'm gonna mess this up. It's not the Neville. What are the places on the East Coast, the big housing tracts back then that happened? I'm drawing a blank. It's been a tough week, guys. Anyways, those big housing tracts that were created after World War II. Then the GI Bill allowed for people that came from the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, all that stuff, to then get really super cheap loans with these locked-in rates and buy houses. Well, out of all of the people that used those, like, it was something like 6% or 5% were black people. And this began this issue where white families were capable of buying up all of these homes, leaving black families without an ability to create generational wealth. As we all know, the middle class creates most of its long-term wealth through buying homes. And when black Americans were unable to buy those homes through redlining or through things like the GI Bill, where they would go and they'd try and use it, and they were, instead it would be sold to white families instead. HOAs, which inherently began as a racist way for white people to keep black people from moving into their neighborhoods. The white fright, where they literally pay black people to push strollers down streets to freak people out. Like, It hasn't gone away. And I know that because, like I've said before, I've seen people literally in management that pick up a fucking application and go, Jamal? Yeah, fucking right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can tell you this shit still exists, my friends. Thank you for the $5, fan. Dude, I'm going to watch Logan's Run. James, that's a good call. I'm playing Expedition 33. Has anybody played Expedition 33? I don't play a lot of games nowadays. I don't have fucking... Levitt. Thank you, Ethan. Levittown. Thank you. Levittown was the name of the tracks. Has anybody played Expedition 33? I haven't played a lot of games, but I love stories, right? And one of the problems... I'm going to just keep saying one of the problems, and you guys are going to hate me for that, but I'm going to keep doing it. One of the problems with society today is our lack of stories. Like, people don't want to make really good movies because really good movies means you like go to the place, right? And you have this like really like cinematic experience by, the old Lord of the Ring movies. When I say old, I mean the Jackson ones because those are old now. They have such good cinematography, right? And it's all in New Zealand and it's beautiful. But all of these big movie companies now, they're just for profit. Capitalism ruined fucking everything. It's just for profit. So now it's green screen and CGI and fucking all of this shit, and it's garbage. And there's no stories. Our books are now being written by AI. Like, there's no stories. And I found this game, Expedition 33, and like I said, I don't get to play very often. So I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this. It's a waste of fucking money. And I read all these people saying what a beautiful story it had. And I played the game, and it's a really fantastic video game. It's a beautiful story. And the funny thing about it was I was telling my assistant manager at work, I was telling her, I go, you're not into games, but can I show you this art? It's French music, and it's beautiful art. And I'm explaining to her the story of, like, there's this paintress, and she paints a number on a tree, and whoever is older than that number that year dies, and it keeps ticking down, and she's like, oh, it's Logan's Run. And I was like, what's Logan's Run? And she told me all about Logan's Run. So I'm going to watch Logan's Run. So, yeah, I'm going to check it out. 5 Alarm Fire, thank you for the $20. I think Bill Burr is becoming our new George Carlin. I think so as well, my friend. 100%. 100%. So, yeah, if you like Logan's Run and you like to play video games, if you do like to play video games at all, I encourage you, because I am encouraging people nowadays, turn off the internet. Get off social media. Go outside and touch grass. Like this is a exhausting mental fight, and we need you guys healthy and not constantly over inundated with all this bullshit. So, like, get something in your life that can distract you from all this bullshit, because it's important to be aware of it, but it's also important to stay healthy and not become exhausted by this bullshit. So if you're into video games, Expedition 33 it's dope. It's a super cool story. It's a beautiful story, and it's actually a fun game to play as well. And I'm going to go watch Logan's Run probably in the next few days, so I'll hit you guys up with that. All right. So the next thing that we're talking about, guys, wait, are you guys ready for this? Veruca, you can do whatever you want. Yeah, our lack of connection. It's dehumanizing. Yeah, we got to go outside and smoke grass. Like James said. I would never, ever, ever tell people to do drugs. All right, YouTube, don't fucking ban me, dog. God, a couple of times last night I was talking about capital punishment on Pep Talk show, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm sorry. I don't want to get you demonetized. My bad. Oh, thank you for the 10 gift memberships. Thank you, fan, for 10 memberships, buddy. Logan's Run is a good movie, and as a kid, one of my favorites. There's a series, too. They're making a remake right now for it, too. 2025. They are making a Logan's Run. I don't know if it'll be any good. Probably not. It'll probably be all AI. So anyways, this is one of the things that we missed during all of this shit, guys. Look, we had Sandwich Man, guys. We had Sandwich Man. That was fun, okay? And then we had Elon with his black eye, and that was fun. Well, this actually has a bit to do with Elon and his black eye, guys. This might be the UFC. You know how they're talking about having a UFC fight on the South Lawn? We might not have to wait until next year, guys. Elon and Scott Bessent, and apparently Bill Punta is the finance agency chief, federal housing finance agency chief, and apparently people hate this motherfucker. Dude, I'm telling you, why are there not GoPros on these people in the White House right now? Like, if we have to go through all this exhausting ass bullshit, can we at least see Scott Bessent fight Bill Pulte? I want to see it. I know Ross right now is about to fucking phonetically spell this guy's name for me. So stop saying this guy's name wrong. All right. So this is why a near fist fight at a MAGA night spot spells danger for the global economy. Also, why is there a MAGA night spot, guys? What does that look like? I bet there's a lot of underage kids there. Just saying. It gives new meaning to the term economic meltdown. Reports that fists almost flew between two members of President Donald Trump's crack finance team. They're on crack. They're not crack. They're on crack. Are hardly reassuring, with the economy perched on the precipice of a job slump and a possible deeper slowdown. 900,000 lost jobs. I'm predicting, guys. I'm predicting by 2026, 2027, we have an unemployment rate between 5.5 and 7%. That's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting inflation 3.5 to 4%, jobs, unemployment 5.5 to 7%. I'm predicting stagflation and a light recession. That's where I'm at, and I'm trying to make a video on that to tell you guys why I think all these things. The one thing that I do spend a inordinate amount of time on is economics. I spend a lot of time watching economic videos, looking at the Fred, looking at the government Bureau of Statistics, learning as much as I can about all of that shit, because that's the place that I feel the strongest in my education. And I'm trying to make a video, and I think it'll be a really good video explaining exactly why I think when Stephen Moran replaces Jerome Powell in May next year, that we are going to be in for a lot of pain. But the story that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent threatened to punch Federal Housing Finance Agency Chief Bill Pulte in the face at an exclusive MAGA club last week is a sensational morsel of Beltway gossip. Is this an AI article? It probably is. The spur for the near fisticuffs Who uses that word? Was Basint's belief that Pulte had badmouthed him to the big boss. Two sources familiar with the evening told CNN. The White House declined to comment. CNN has reached out to the offices of the alleged potential pugilist. This fucking article's its verbiage is amazing, I'll be honest. Basint's combat... Yeah, it's an AI article. AI article, guys. I'm calling it. Basint's combativeness, he allegedly told Pulte he wanted to take the matter outside. Have you guys ever seen Scott Basint talk? Bro, Scott Basint, like, as a father of a kid that's on the spectrum, I'm telling you, Scott Basint's on that spectrum, dude. Apparently, he's the kid on the spectrum that wants to do UFC, though, because he has tried to fight, like, everybody. He wanted to take the matter outside. It might draw quips about the first Treasury Secretary, Alexander Hamilton, and the most notorious duel in American history. That's right, with Burr. But it offers two worrying insights into tensions inside Trump's brain trust at a pivotal moment. There is no brain in that trust. First, the supposed showdown, first reported by Politico, lifts the lid on Trump's nest of vipers political operation. Trump's second administration has lagged the vicious infighting of his first, since he's jettisoned anyone who saw themselves as an adult in the room. But the Basint-Pulte bureaucratic cage match shows that Trump's 8 cacophonous months... Cacophonous, right? That Trump's 8 cacophonous months back in power are taking a toll. Hey, the verbiage in this fucking article. Insane. What's up, Mouse? What's going on over there at Twitch? What's happening? Oh, can't wait to watch it. That's right, Vonda. That's right. Most presidents would recoil in horror at reports of senior aides on the verge of a brawl. Former President Barack Obama used to talk of his Lincoln-style team of rivals, but it's hard to imagine his cerebral Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner throwing down the gauntlet to a cabinet colleague during the Great Recession in 2009. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Trump has literally said this. Trump has said he intentionally stays out of arguments and fights between his people because the best man will win. The best man will win.
I love Tesla.
Ah, yes you do. Trump being Trump might welcome the friction, seeing it as a chance to play his warring lieutenants against one another to his advantage. But there's a graver reason why a cocktail hour brouhaha in Georgetown will send alarm bells around the world. The alleged shouting match reveals there's only one currency in MAGA world, uber loyalty to Trump. Basint was apparently furious because he thought his colleague had been talking about him with Trump behind his back. Dude, this is just like, we're all back in high school. We all peaked, and here we are. We're back again, guys. Taking it back to when America was great, guys. The Treasury Secretary has emerged as an impressive inside player in the bruising Washington game and knows that his capacity to do his job, calming the markets, shaping the president's wildest instincts, and stabilizing the global economy requires Trump's absolute confidence. Once Trump turns against someone, it's a tough road back. If Basint starts to tense, since he's on the outs, investors might panic. They're already panicking. We're in so much trouble if this shit gets worse. So there's like a lot more to how all of this stuff kind of unraveled. And I want to get to that as well. But let's read a little bit more of this, and then we'll take a look at these other articles. It's obvious that the first duty of Trump's officials is to cater to his self-image of greatness rather than to the public, hence the fawning North Korea-style genuflections that Trump requires in cabinet meetings. Yeah, all the ass-kissing that goes on in the cabinet meetings is fucking insane. But flattery exacts a price. Trump's team must tell him what he wants to hear, not what he should hear. Such self-censoring is always dangerous for presidents who live inside bubbles of deference, even in normal times. That's why a lot of people are like, no, he's doing this on purpose. And I'm like, he doesn't even know he's fucking up. No one's telling him. It's even more hazardous under Trump, since the president is embarked on the riskiest, most unorthodox economic experiment in generations. His tariff wars have ripped up a global trading system that made the U.S. the world's mightiest economic power. Now Trump wants to crush another cornerstone of U.S. financial superiority, the independence of the Federal Reserve. So he's trying to get rid of Lisa Cook. Lisa Cook actually, like, pretty much all the evidence right now is showing that no, she does not have anything that's fraudulent as far as her mortgages and stuff like that goes. So I think that she's going to be able to stay, and he's not going to be able to fire her, which is really good. But Stephen Moran, who wrote the white paper, which is why we're doing all these tariffs right now, is going to be Jerome Powell's replacement come next May. And at that point, the Federal Reserve is no longer going to be a third-party, a non-government institution. It's going to be directly under the executive power because Stephen Moran is a Trump loyalist. You should read his white paper. He's not just pursuing another long-term obsession, citing interest rates. He could also get his hands on the Fed's other levers, like regulating banks and bailouts, in a way that could profit him and his rich friends in the event of a major financial shock. And that's why I think he bought up all those bonds. He bought up all those bonds because he's going to force the Fed to drop interest rates, and he's going to make a lot of money off of that. Politics clash with the percent, meanwhile, will only thicken intrigue about his growing behind-the-scenes role. He recently emerged as a key player since his agency has been unearthing alleged irregularities on mortgage forms filed by some of the president's top targets, including Lisa Cook, whom Trump is trying to fire as the Fed governor. So, in other words, the reason you're hearing all of this stuff about Lisa Cook is because of this Bill Pulte guy, right? So this Bill Pulte guy is causing a bunch of shit with all these other people, but Trump likes him because he keeps giving information to Trump about his enemies. The same thing goes with Jerome Powell, right? Like they tried to say that there is all kinds of fraud. Adam Schiff, they tried to say there's all kinds of mortgage fraud. Lisa Cook, mortgage fraud. This is a pattern. What they are literally doing is using Bill Pulte to try to unearth evidence that these people have done things against the law so that way they can hold them accountable for them, so that way they can remove them and the Supreme Court won't slap their hand, which I don't know why they're even trying that because the Supreme Court probably won't slap their hand anyways. So, as Trump's team spars, Americans are getting really worried about the economy. Internecine feuding may be another distraction from what Americans care about the most. News of tensions inside Trump's top team emerged days after a grim jobs report suggested that Trump's outlandish economic approach is beginning to cause damage. The report released on Friday showed the economy added only 22,000 positions last month. The data showed the consumer goods sector is now suffering from rising prices brought on by tariffs, the volatile way they are being imposed, and the resulting slowdown in hiring. The employment rates among Black Americans and young people, often harbingers of are worsening fast. So if you don't know what happened just in Nepal with that revolt, they had a 20% unemployment rate for people between 18 and 24. This is when young people can't find jobs. That's a real fucking problem because old people are leaving the job market. Young people can't get jobs. And now we have automation and AI coming in behind it as well. Like, this is literally a recipe for disaster. And even Stephen Moran, the guy who this is his whole plan, said there is going to be great pain for America as we try to thread the needle and not go into a recession. Trump's officials cannot break any of this down in public to avoid angering the president. A month after the boss fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, his top aides are still claiming that the numbers are off. So let's get a little bit more into who this dude is. Because a lot of people I don't think know who Bill Pulte is, right? I mean, any of you guys really know who that is? Wait, did Kirk Cameron die? Wait, wasn't he an asshole? Wasn't he an asshole? Let's see. Well, what Alan just said. Powell should keep the interest rates where they are to force Trump to drop tariffs. Most likely, I do want to believe that the Supreme Court is going to side with the international trade courts. I mean, the international trade courts are not the same issues that Trump and them claim with federal courts, right? Like the bias. International trade courts are just literally looking at what the EEPA, I think it is, EEMA, Emergency Act that he used to do this. They don't believe that you can use that to use tariffs. Now, there's something about that case that could allow them to dismiss it because they could just say that you're not allowed to determine whether or not you can use tariffs under that act. Therefore, since it doesn't mention tariffs, it's not a viable case. But there's a second court case that the Supreme Court has to look through that will then bring it from federal courts that will force them to look at it. And if we overturn the tariffs, yes, America will have to pay back some of that money to some of these countries. They will have to refund it. But overall, and I was wrong about this. I actually, when Trump said that it would lead us to a Great Depression, I reacted very emotionally to that, and I was like, he's probably fucking right. But after looking at numbers and looking at other times, including the 1930s, 87, 2008, 2001, it does not seem like we were going to... It takes a lot to go into a depression. It takes a huge spiral to go into a depression, and also the government has to just let it happen. So unless Donald Trump and his cabinet are just that vindictive, I don't think we'll go into a depression. So the hope is that we do end up actually getting those overturned, because it'll be really good for small businesses, and it'll be really good for me and you, because that will lighten some of the load that's currently happening to us. I mean, CPI went up to 2.9 from 2.7. PPI, they're celebrating that it went back 0.1 after going up a full point last fucking month. Like, we went up 1%, and they're like, yeah, it went down 0.1, boys. That's a net fucking negative, you assholes. Like, this is all bad. Personal consumption expenditures up, consumer price index up, core up, inflation up, PPI up, no matter what the fuck they tell you about 0.1, jobs down, unemployment bad, black unemployment bad, young unemployment bad. There's no fucking number, I'm telling you right now, that is good. No number. Like I said, this is like people fucking cheering on their favorite sports team while they're about to get evicted. Like, I'm glad y'all are happy about this or mad about that, but we all about to fucking get kicked out. So anyways, this is about Bill Pulte, who is the guy that supposedly Scott Bessent told him he was going to take him outside. All right? He's a nut. GOP lawmakers say this Trump official too big for his britches. Top Republicans on Capitol Hill are reportedly fed up with William Pulte, the head of the federal House Finance Agency. I think he's a nut, one House Republican told Politico. This fucking administration is Jerry Springer on steroids, guys. The report noted that Pulte, once a little-known regulator, has become a central and controversial figure in President Donald Trump's fiery campaign against the Federal Reserve. His social media-fueled attacks on Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Governor Lisa Cook, among others, have made him a provocateur. That's one of Trump's favorite words. I don't know if you guys remember back in his first term, he liked to say provocateur. But I think he probably said provocateur, because he breaks up words you don't need to. The fact that these people, like Trump, literally judges their worth on how much evidence he can get them on his rivals and how good their social media posts are. He's like, that shit was fire. That was fire. Did you guys see Bill Pulte's Facebook post? It was very fire. As the kids say, it was lit. It was skibbity toilet. I want to hear Trump say skibbity toilet. God damn it. He's looking at Scott Bessent. Scott Bessent's annoying. He's like, Scott Bessent, Scott, I gotta say, your last Facebook post, kind of mid. Kind of mid, Scott. But his antics are wearing thin. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reportedly snapped at him during a recent Washington dinner, threatening to punch Pulte in the face. According to the report, some in the GOP quietly applaud this reaction from Bessent. It's like a schoolyard fight. Like, Bessent's like, fuck you, I'll take you outside. People are like, fight, 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 fight.
It's like legalized comedy.
Oh, man. This is good. This is good.
White males way up. White males have gone through the roof. White males way up.
Dude, the fucking fight on the lawn is going to... The White House UFC should just be politicians. No UFC fighters. I saw Ronda Rousey said she's not going to fight at that shit. She said, fuck Trump. And I got to admit, guys, I was a Rousey hater. And I feel bad now. Because she really was a nice person. But, like, she was one of those fighters that was, like, super hype. And, like, no one could beat her. And I like underdogs. And so when she lost, I cheered that shit. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I cheered that pretty hard. When Holly Holmes head kicked fucking Ronda Rousey. I was like, good job. Now I feel bad for that because it turns out Ronda Rousey, pretty good person. Not going to fight at the UFC White House lawn. So good job, Ronda. But of course, Trump's going to be like, I didn't even invite her. I don't know why Ronda Rousey. Who is that? Don't even know. Ronda Rousey. Is that some kind? Is she Roddy Piper? It's just going to be like Scott Bessent versus Pulte. I think that's what it should be. Fucking MTG versus Bobert. Dude, good fights. Another GOP lawmaker serving on the House Financial Services Committee voiced a similar frustration per the report. The guy's just a little too big for his britches. You know that's an old-ass person that said that. That lawmaker also expressed admiration for Bessent's willingness to push back. In response, FHFA told Politico, lobbyists' anonymous sources will not deter Director Pulte from working with the entire administration to ensure a competitive, safe, and sound mortgage market. It doesn't sound like he's doing anything for the mortgage market. Beyond tempers, Pulte's actions are raising real policy concerns. He launched the mortgage fraud allegations against Cook that Trump later used as grounds for firing her. He's also relentlessly criticized Powell over both monetary policy and the costly renovation of the Fed's headquarters. Meanwhile, Bessent looks increasingly like the steady hand some Republicans on the Hill crave, per the report. One lawmaker told the outlet, I would have done the same, referring to Bessent's response to Pulte's behavior. Another called him the adult in the room, someone business leaders can trust to maintain market stability and predictability. Still, Pulte retains the loyalty of Trump-aligned hardliners. I think he's doing a great job, said Andy Ogles. Byron Donalds added that Pulte is doing a good job exposing some of the stuff around these mortgage applications, even if he isn't fully tuned into FHFA happenings. In other words, Byron Donalds doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Oh, look at my African-American over here. Look at him.
I like that he's referred to as the fucking... the adult in the room. How bad are things getting when the dude that's threatening to punch the other dude in the face is considered the adult in the room? I wonder if Bessent called him the P word.
P word. P word is female genitalia.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think fucking Scott Bessent lit Elon up, guys? What do you guys think? Do you guys think Scott Bessent lit him up? Is that how he got that black eye? Y'all tell me, can Scott Bessent fight? Should I be careful, guys? What if Scott Bessent shows up at my house? What if he can fight? What if I think I'm about to drag Scott Bessent, and Scott Bessent hits me with like a fucking jab right cross combo? Like, what happens if fucking like I get like I'm like, all right, let's do this shit, and fucking get ready, and then he leg kicks me? Fucking what if he snaps like what if Scott Bessent has like Saquon Barkley size quads, guys? What if we don't see under those fucking slacks Scott Bessent has some massive quads, like he squats like 500, and Scott Bessent buckles me like with a fucking leg kick to the outside of the knee? All right, so speaking of, oh fuck, this is why we had to get away from all this other bullshit today, guys. We needed this in our life, guys. We need this in our life. So, speaking of Elon Musk, okay?
It's like legalized comedy.
Speaking of Leon, all right, in the black eye, and Bill Pulte, and fucking Scott Bessent. Royal Rumble, guys. How about that? How about Royal Rumble on the White House lawn, guys? Scott Bessent, Elon Musk, like Trump fucking hobbles out with half of his face fucking slouching down. You know, they all just sell for Trump. Like, he gets in, and he's like, it's like when one of those old wrestlers, like when Ric Flair, like his final match, like he's too old and he's all fucked up and he can barely move and shit like that. And like Trump gets in the ring and half his face is like sloughed off onto his jaw, but everybody's just selling. And Trump throws like Elon over the top. Fucking Scott Bessent goes over, But then like MTG hijacks some guys. Like MTG comes in and she doesn't want to play the script. Fucking just a low shot right to Trump's balls. Fucking uppercut hits him. His face goes right back into where it was supposed to be. She fucking grabs him, power bombs him. Shit's illegal now, I'm pretty sure. And then fucking throws his ass over the top ropes, and then she starts yelling at people, I'm the president now. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. It's the dumbest fucking timeline. Bring back Celebrity Deathmatch. Yes. Yes. All right, so this article is Elon Musk reopens black eye mystery with cryptic tweet over White House brawl. It's all connected, guys. It's all computer. Elon Musk resurfaced the saga of his Oval Office black eye by commenting on a report that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent had threatened to beat up an administration rival. Politico reported on a tense exchange at the executive branch and members only MAGA. Okay, wait, exchange at the executive branch? Is that the name of the club? Help me out, guys. Reported on a tense exchange at the executive branch. You got to be fucking kidding me. Is that the Don Jr. club? A members-only MAGA clubhouse in Washington, D.C. That's what it is, isn't it? It's Don Jr.'s $500,000 membership fucking club, isn't it? Where witnesses allege Bessent confronted housing czar Bill Pulte, saying he was going to punch him in the fucking face. The Treasury Secretary then proposed taking it outside so he could fucking beat Pulte's ass. It's never not going to be funny.
It's like legalized comedy.
I love Tesla.
It's never not going to be funny to talk about this, guys. Oh my God. Hours after the report was published, Musk posted a link to the article to his 225 million X followers, along with a cryptic comment, Let's see it. I want to see the tweet. Where's the tweet at? I want to see the tweet. Oh, here it is, right? Is this the tweet? He linked the article, and then he put, Laura Loomer, did he hit you? We are all dying to know. That man right there is just going around terrorizing fucking the White House administration. That dude. Guys, he's on TRT. I'm going to say it right now. Somebody got Scott Bessent's ass in TRT, and he cannot stop himself, guys. Oh, shit. Oh, man. That is pretty amazing. Okay, anyways, back to the story. Musk's three-letter post is notable because he was involved in a previous headline-grabbing altercation with Bessent. This one inside the White House after the pair's blow-up over an IRS appointment earlier this year. Reporters at the time said the dispute turned physical, though the White House downplayed it as healthy disagreements. Former Trump advisor Steve Bannon told the Washington Post that Musk had rammed his shoulder into Bessent's ribs like a rugby player during the altercation, and that Bessent had hit back. I'm just upset that we don't have any video footage. Like, this should cross the aisle, guys. This should cross the aisle, all right? Both Republicans and Democrats should be able to get together on this thing right here, guys. We should be able to agree that we should get to see this shit. Can we please get together and fucking agree on that one, guys? Thank you for the, what was that? Mama Brooke. Sorry, I missed your, what you did there. I probably missed a couple people. Mama Brooke, thank you for the 10 memberships. Thank you so much, Mama Brooke. Fentradeath, thank you for the $5. If Don Jr. has a 500K membership club, I hope it has complimentary Coke, and I'm not talking about soda. I'm pretty sure he does. I'm pretty sure I'm right, fan. Somebody get that for me. somebody Google that. Days later, Musk appeared in the Oval Office with a visible black eye that he said came from playfully roughhousing with his 5-year-old son. That's a perfect picture of this shit right here. Aw, poor guy. Poor Elon. He paid $270 million for a father-son relationship and did not even get fucking a full year out of it. That's pretty sad. Besant later denied giving Musk the black eye, telling reporters he was 100% not responsible while pointedly declining to detail the West Wing run-in. The Georgetown flare-up between Besant and Pulte at a birthday dinner for All In podcaster. Oh, it's for the fucking... Holy shit, dude. Chamath? I can't even say his last name. It's that guy? It's that guy? Attended by several cabinet-level Trump officials, appears to have been part of a broader simmering rivalry among Trump world's economic power players. According to attendees, Besant unleashed an expletive-laced tirade at Pulte, who he said had been bad-mouthing him to Trump. He then demanded that Pulte be tossed from the room before club co-owner Omid Malik split them up. No punches were thrown. Now, with a single syllable and a hyperlink, Musk has refocused attention on Besant's temper, as well as the unresolved gossip around his own White House brawl and black eye. Can we just get some fucking GoPros on these people? What up, Manny? Manny, you I know you agree with me. Can we get some GoPros on these people? Why are we missing all the good stuff? Like, my God, man. Like, I am 100% sure that I could get MAGA Republicans on board with this idea. This could heal us, guys. This could make everything okay. If we could just... Look, if we could just do what we used to do when we were kids, right? Like, when you had two friends and they were upset with each other, they didn't like each other, you gave them gloves and you let them go out and let them box and shit, right? You get hit a couple times... Somebody catches you with a hard one once. You recognize that you're not the hardest motherfucker that's ever lived. And then you shake hands afterwards. I mean, I'm not advocating for this administration to get any dumber through CTE. And I know that that's a possibility. But I do feel like, guys, like we are missing a opportunity to make billions of dollars that could be used for things within the country, like paying down Donald Trump's $7 trillion in debt that he's going to get now. Please tell me it isn't going to talk about Kirk. I've had my fill. Robert, we are allegedly not talking about him. We are talking about other shit. We are talking about other stuff. Remember those big inflatable gloves? Pinkerbell, we actually boxed with those not too long ago. I forgot what the celebration was. I got a buddy who's right now he's watching the Crawford Canelo fight. Actually, he's got backstage passes. I was gonna go to that shit, and he got backstage passes, and so he's up there right now, and he likes to throw parties for the boxing matches. So I go and hang out with him and watch the boxing matches. And one year, I think it was last year, he got a big inflatable ring with the big inflatable gloves, and we all just like boxed. And it was kind of amazing, and he actually threw up because we were drunk as fuck. We were all shit-faced, and yes, at one point or another, he did fall over the ropes and puke on the lawn. Good times! Good times! I'm just saying, we need some stuff to heal us, guys. And this could heal us. We all could, let's stop all this shit. Let's watch Scott Besant fight Pulte. And then, it could be, you guys remember the old UFCs? Because I've been watching UFC since #1, right? So, I watched, the dude that fought with one boxing glove on. You guys remember that shit? I think it was against Royce Gracie. And he came in, he had one boxing glove on because he didn't want to break his hand. And then Royce Gracie proceeded to tackle him and then fucking lay on top of him for 47 minutes because back then there was no round limits. Then eventually just choked his ass out. I'm just saying, guys, we could have the old school tournament style UFC where they had to fight 4 fights in a night. You start the night with Besant versus Pulte, and you have Elon versus somebody small, somebody that Elon can just use that pear-shaped body and just fucking fall on top of and win, like Lauren Boebert. I'm afraid that he will probably molest her for sure in the ring in front of everybody. I don't think he'll be able to not. But I say it's Elon Musk. Let's see, who's somebody? Zuckerberg. Well, no, I think Zuckerberg could take Elon. I think Zuckerberg could actually take Elon. Fuck. Who's somebody you could take? Howard Lutnick. Okay, Howard Lutnick versus Elon Musk. Probably a fair fight. But I think Elon takes him. They move on to the next round, and then Basent, obviously going to beat the shit out of Pulte because he's already shown that he beat the fuck out of him because that guy just backed the fuck down. Okay, so then he goes to the second round, fights Elon, super match. All right, super fight, guys. Like, I don't know why we're not doing this. This is the dumbest administration that has ever existed, and we're not going to have fucking full-on combat on the White House lawn between politicians? This is the only way that we solve these problems. I don't know why we aren't doing this. What's up, Swifty? What's up, Mitchell? All right. A little more serious. Let's talk about actually let's talk about one more not so serious thing. Let's talk about one more not so serious thing. When we get some Epstein stuff, all right? Let's talk about Trump voter slams president's stupid policy after his wife is detained over $25 bad check. Can somebody pronounce that person's name for me? Spell that shit phonetically. Pochaperon, Niamani. The trailer park is strong in this one. The husband of Irish green card holder in immigrant detention is speaking out against President Donald Trump's immigration agenda after voting for Trump in the last election. This is sad for me to hear. Ooh, Lauren Boebert versus Laura Loomer. That's a good one. That's a good fight. This is sad for me. My Irish people. I always want to think that my Irish people are much better than they are. To be honest with you, I know that they be wildin', and it makes me sad when I find out. Like, if Conor McGregor wins the presidency in Ireland, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that this shit's over. I'm just gonna say that, like, this is not just an America problem. If Conor McGregor, what is it, prime minister? I think they're prime minister over there. What is the president over there? If he wins, I think we're cooked. I think it's over. Why are my Irish people gotta be like this? Stop being like this. It's crazy that this is happening. It's just crazy that this is even allowed in this country. That's the problem. It shouldn't even be thought that this should be okay. Jim Brown told Fox affiliate KMOV, yeah, you think it's crazy? You fucking voted for it, dog. You just didn't think it was going to happen to you. Brown's wife, Donna Hughes Brown, is an Irish citizen who moved to the U.S. when she was 11. The couple married 8 years ago, Brown said. U.S. Customs and Border Protection detained Hughes Brown in July when she landed in Chicago from a family funeral in Ireland. Holy shit. She's coming home from a family funeral. This administration has no bar that is too low. Over a $25 check. The 58-year-old has now been in detention for over 30 days and faces deportation. This guy, guys, if you had to guess, if this guy walked up to you on the street and somebody asked you, who did these people vote for, what would you guess? There's like no way you don't think anybody. There is no way that you don't think that he voted for anybody but Donald Trump. If you picked anybody other than Donald Trump, you're gonna get banned. You're getting banned. What up, fatty? What's going on? Angry Ginger is finally noticing that fascism is on the rise worldwide. Look at Germany and the AfD. Those people should straight up know a Nazi when they see one. Well, isn't that... I'm not going to make the comment that a couple of them have perished. But have you guys seen that? Like 3 or 5 AfD members have died in the last, 2 months or something like that. They are making some shit happen over there. Dude is a thug, fatty. Holy shit. Under federal law, U.S. legal residents may have their green cards revoked and face deportation if they commit certain crimes, including those of moral. I'm going to say this, it's turpitude, but I'm going to say moral turnipitude, okay? Because I like that better. Moral turnipitude, which courts say refers generally to conduct that shocks the public conscience as being inherently base, vile, or depraved. And I don't know about you guys, but having worked in the retail industry, I do look at people who have bounced checks as being inherently base, vile, or depraved. If you have bounced a check, you are a bad person and you deserve to be deported from the United States of America. That's what you get for voting for Trump. You vote for retardation, you get it. That's the way it is. Court documents reviewed by KMOV revealed that Hughes Brown once wrote a bad check for $25 a decade ago, which she paid back and served probation for. However, according to her husband, the government argued that her offense involves moral turnipitude. She got turned up. She paid it back and served probation. Look, I make fun of Trump supporters a lot, all right? I do. I mock the shit out of these poor people. This is a nice lady. She bounced a $25 check, and not only did she pay that shit back, but then she served probation for it. This is a nice lady. Like, come on, man. I have people in my family, I'm not gonna lie, that went to jail for stealing people's checkbooks. I'm very white trash. They weren't nice ladies. I love you if you're listening. I'm sorry. This is a nice lady. I think it's nonsense. I think it's a blanket thing to catch everybody to fill beds, Brown said. No shit, Bill. Oh, or Brown. I don't. He looks like a Bill to me. A DHS spokesperson told HuffPost a green card is a privilege, not a right. And under our nation's laws, our government has the authority to revoke a green card if our laws are broken and abused. Oh, fuck. Lawful permanent residents presenting at a U.S. port of entry with certain criminal convictions may be found inadmissible, placed in removal proceedings, and subject to mandatory detention. This shit is like literally Nazi Germany, but dumber. It's like the dumbest version of Nazi Germany. In a GoFundMe launched to offset Hugh Brown's legal fees, an associate described the couple as very strong supporters and helpers of their local community in Missouri, oftentimes involved with multiple volunteer organizations and projects. Nice lady. They are good servers of God, humble people who are always willing to help, and kind friends that share knowledge and wisdoms with anyone in need. You know what, though? You can't trust her with a check, though. Yeah, like, she'll go down to the local Walmart, she'll bounce that shit. Fucking, you can't have those kind of people just walking the streets, all right? Those kind of people walking the streets, you need to get the fucking National Guard down to Missouri when that lady's walking the street. Fucking stopping those checks from being bounced. Brown told the Irish Times on Tuesday that he had speaking to his wife in detention. However, he said that just recently Hughes Brown was moved to an isolation cell. She got moved to solitary. Holy shit. I don't pre-read these things, guys. I learn all this shit with you guys. What did she do? Did she shank another lady in there? Did she, like, form a shank out of, like, a bounce check? Did she, like, wet it with saliva and then let it dry out? Not that I know how to make shanks in prison, guys. Don't judge me, all right? Scraping toothbrushes on the floor and shit, you know what I'm saying? Get you a plastic spoon. Remember, as that man said in that documentary where Chris Rock quotes him for saying that when you are tossing a salad in prison, you are given a decision to make. And you can do it with jelly or syrup. I prefer jelly, okay? For those of you that have never seen that, you should look at that. Because you're probably like, this guy's weird as fuck. I'm just saying, that man later in that documentary said, if you're going to shank somebody, you make sure to shank them 37 times, all right? You don't stop. Because that motherfucker might come back around and get you. That is one of the fucking low-key best documentaries I've ever seen in my life when I was like 19. Anyways, I think that this lady might have shanked somebody. That's why she got moved to solitary. That's the story I'm going with. They tried to feed her hot dogs and chili mac. She probably told them after the 5th time they tried to serve her, "I'm not eating that," Brown told the outlet. So they locked her up. I haven't heard from her in 3 days now. It's stupid. You should have just ate the fucking chili mac. How are you going to be too good for chili mac and hot dogs? This is the dumbest fucking timeline. It is the dumbest timeline. Brown told KMOV he reached out to his Republican representatives Eric Schmidt and Josh Hawley, as well as to ICE and the White House, but has not heard back. No shit. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe, also a Republican, sent Brown a letter telling him it was a federal issue. Oh, shit, he said, "Fuck your wife, bro. I don't have time for this." I want somebody to have the guts and the fortitude to stand up and say, "You know what? This is wrong," Brown said. You know who's been doing that, Mr. Brown? You know who's been doing that? Democrats. Well, not actually Democrats. People further to the left of them. So maybe next time. Like, this motherfucker should be voting for Mom Donnie. He should be moving to New York and voting for Mom Donnie. He told Newsweek late last month that he 100% regrets his vote for Trump in the last presidential election. Trump advertised that he was getting criminal illegal immigrants and deporting them, which I don't disagree with, but that's not what he's doing, Brown said. Oh, that is what he's doing. So your wife is a menace? She bounced a $25 check and then she wouldn't eat her chili mac and hot dogs. This woman is obviously a threat to society. Like, when will Trump supporters ever learn? Like, everything they believe is wrong. Is that what it is? That, like, at one point when everything that you believe is wrong and everything that happens goes against what you thought was going to happen, do you just kind of get used to it and just, like, you're like, fuck it, I don't care? Like, is that what it is? Is owning the liberals worth that much? Your wife's in jail now, refusing to eat her chili mac and hot dogs and getting put in solitary confinement because she bounced a $25 check after being here for like 40 years. That's crazy. That is the ultimate fuck around and find out. Oh, man. All right, we got one more. We got one more. I gotta get cheap viewers over on streamboo.com. Why is Twitch so weird? Sorry, Twitch viewers. I love you, Twitch viewers. I just want you guys to know that. I'm like the opposite of everybody. Everybody has like 1 million viewers over on Twitch and none on YouTube. And on YouTube, I have all the viewers and no viewers on Twitch. Kick, I always have 1 viewer on Kick. Whoever it is that watches my stream over on Kick, I just want to say I love you. I appreciate you. We have a relationship that transcends content creation. Whoever you are, the one person that always watches my video over on Kick, you are a good human being. I mean, you're not as good as the lady that bounced a $25 check and then fucking paid it back and went on probation for it to later be detained after a family funeral and then refused to eat chili mac and hot dogs, but you're a good person. Nina, thank you for being over there. You know I appreciate you, Nina. I always appreciate you. It's probably one of you guys logged in over there as well. Probably. But don't ruin it for me, Silent. Don't ruin it. Silent, don't ruin it for me. God. I want to believe that I have 1 viewer that really likes me a lot over on Kick. I just want to believe that there's like 1 person that's like, this guy's cool. Yeah, bounced a $25 check. Meanwhile, Trump bankrupts everything and doesn't pay his contractors. 100%. Mouselander put in double work. Twitch and YouTube. I love you, Mouselander. I love you. You guys are my heroes. I need to get 4 people chatting for like 3 streams consistently on Twitch, and then I like move almost into being able to monetize Twitch with my 106 subscribers. I'm big time over there. Big time. All right. We've talked about a lot of the funny stuff. let's talk about something for real. I feel like it's my job to pretty much talk about Epstein every single time that we get on stream, right? Because we can't let this shit go away. I don't know if you guys know this, but we are one vote away from the House being able to, in some way, circumvent Senate and get the Epstein files released. Now, I'll be honest with you, most likely the DOJ is just probably going to stonewall them and just be like, no, because this administration literally doesn't actually care about the rules. In fact, they don't believe they exist. But we are one vote away from that because we have 4 Republicans currently willing to sign off on it. And at the end of this month, I want to say it's a Virginia seat, although I could be wrong about that. That is up in a very blue district, a like dark blue district. So there's a special election for a seat coming up at the end of this month. And if that seat goes to a Democrat, we have all the votes necessary to in some way circumvent the Senate and get the Epstein files released. So I'm going to tell you guys, over the next 3 weeks, expect this shit to get bananas. Like, expect things to get pretty weird. And you're like probably saying like, dude, how much weirder than this can it get? Over the next 3 weeks, I would expect it to get very, very weird because there's going to be a lot of distractions. There's going to be a lot of attempts to, make the victims of Epstein look like they're false, that their accusations are false, because that puts the ball in Democrats' court to get those Epstein files out to the people. And if that happens, man, that's big coverage. We're going to be talking about that nonstop. So, however, things have been happening other than that. As you guys know, I think I talked about it maybe over on this space on Thursday. I might have talked about this. But there was 18,000 emails that were released that were hacked from Ghislaine Maxwell's Yahoo account. And one of those emails had said to get Donald Trump off the power list. It also had 51 politicians and celebrities and other power players that apparently were on this list. So we're already getting things from those 18,000 emails that people are going through. We've already gotten some stuff from the 33,000 documents that were released from the Trump administration from the last time. And now we're going to potentially be talking about these other ones that are coming. And what has came from some of these emails is somebody actually being held accountable. Not completely. It's just a start. It's just a start. All right. So this is the beginning. And we're going to hope that this, helps to open it up. Starmer sacks Mandelson as UK ambassador to US over Epstein links. So not an American politician, but a politician. UK leader Kai Starmer sacked his ambassador in Washington, Peter Mandelson, on Thursday following reprehensible fresh revelations about the diplomat's friendship with sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Dubbed the Prince of Darkness during his years as a media spin doctor, Mandelson was twice forced to resign from Tony Blair's Labour government in the late 90s and early 2000s over allegations of misconduct. So that alone just doesn't give me any actual hope that this is going to lead to any kind of repercussions for this guy. The fact that he's literally known as the Prince of Darkness and has already been forced to resign twice, and yet the man is still walking free, just kind of shows that not just America, but the entire fucking globe doesn't give two shits about children. His dismissal as U.S. envoy causes a political and diplomatic headache for the British Prime Minister as he prepares for next week's visit of U.S. President Donald Trump, who is himself facing questions over his ties to Epstein. Yeah, he in those files. Release them files. It is the second high-profile departure from the UK government in the past week after Starmer's former deputy, Angela Rayner, resigned last Friday for underpaying a property tax. Okay. Starmer is still trying to reboot his increasingly unpopular government. The Prime Minister asked top diplomat Yvette Cooper to withdraw Mandelson after emails he wrote to Epstein after he was convicted. Okay, sorry. Let me start that over. Withdraw Mandelson after emails he wrote to Epstein after he was convicted came to light, her office said. The emails showed that the depth and extent of Peter Mandelson's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein is materially different from what that was known at the time of his appointment. Bullshit. Bullshit. What about all the other shit? Anyways, in particular, Peter Mandelson's suggestion that Jeffrey Epstein's first conviction was wrongful and should be challenged is new information. A 14-year-old girl was assaulted by Jeffrey Epstein, and this fucking douchebag thought that it was wrong for his boy to get convicted of it. Fuck these people, man. In light of that, and mindful of the victims of Epstein's crimes, he has been withdrawn as ambassador with immediate effect. In a letter to embassy staff reported by the BBC, Mandelson called serving in the role the privilege of my life. I hope you go to prison. The circumstances surrounding the announcement today are ones which I deeply regret. I still hope that you go to prison. I continue to feel utterly awful about my association with Epstein 20 years ago and the plight of his victims. I really doubt that, and I hope you go to prison. Mandelson said he was departing with Anglo-American relations in really good condition. The sacking followed Bloomberg reporting that Mandelson sent a supportive message to Epstein while the financier was being investigated in the United States for sexual offenses in 2008. The Labor Party grandee sent emails telling Epstein he was following closely and here whenever you need. I hope you go to prison. Mandelson also reportedly told Epstein to fight for early release. Oh my God, that's a poor fucking choice of words. Mandelson also reportedly told Epstein to fight for early release shortly before he received an 18-month sentence for admitting procuring a child for prostitution.
I love the poorly educated.
I think the world of you, Mandelson, a former labor minister and ex-European trade commissioner, wrote the day before Epstein began his sentence. He was convicted, guys. He wrote, I think the world of you. This is like, Jeffrey was a really good guy. He liked him a little bit on the young side.
I love the poorly educated.
A spokesman for Starmer said it was self-evident the Prime Minister found the content of these emails reprehensible. He denied claims that Starmer had shown poor judgment by appointing Mandelson less than a year ago when it had been publicly known that he had stayed friends with Epstein after his conviction. The Prime Minister has taken prompt and decisive action, the spokesman insisted. Following the newspaper's reports, the 71-year-old Mandelson told the BBC that he had relied on assurances of Epstein's innocence that turned out later to be horrendously false.
I love the poorly educated.
His lawyers claimed that it was a shakedown of him, a criminal conspiracy. I foolishly relied on their word, which I regret to this day. His position appeared increasingly precarious after one government minister said he was completely disgusted by the messages, while another said the emails were really disturbing and sickening. Several Labour MPs had publicly urged Starmer to fire Mandelson. Some are now calling for him to quit the UK Parliament's unelected upper chamber, the House of Lords. The UK is a really weird place. The smooth-talking political veteran had only started in a key diplomatic post earlier this year, tasked with building a close relationship with Trump, which most likely their ties to Epstein, that really could have smoothed that out, really broken the ice. Yeah, like fucking, defending pedophiles? Yeah, I do too. Okay, all right, cool. Fucking let's, go ahead and get to talking about trade deals. Holy shit.
I love the poorly educated.
But his position began to become untenable after it emerged that Mandelson called Epstein his best pal. That's probably going to upset Donald Trump. He's like, no, we were best friends. And an intelligent, sharp-witted man in a 2003 letter. The letter was one of many included in a book compiled to mark the now notorious financier's 50th birthday. Its contents were published by a U.S. congressional panel investigating Epstein's sex crime case. One more time.
I love the poorly educated.
Just the fact that so many of these people, it's like, oh, okay, so we know that this shit happened. What should we do about it? Oh, let's make him just quit his job. That was what we decided? We decided that a person who had pretty strong relations, best pal is, I don't call a lot of people my best pal, pretty strong relations with a verified trafficker of children. Like, has there ever been an investigation in this dude and his relationship? Has there ever been anything done about anybody other than the one 14-year-old that he got fucking 18 months? That so allegedly he then, while on work release from his 18-month sentence, abused another girl? Has anybody ever actually done any real time for this? This is the kind of shit. When you hear people, they're like, Charlie Kirk, oh, Democrats, we're going to start a civil war with the Democrats over Charlie Kirk. How about over this shit? How about you start a revolution instead? How about that? How about we stop letting fucking people block the Epstein files being released? How about we actually get our shit together and say to the rest of the world that we not only are not going to allow people in our political system to abuse children, but also we're not going to let people in your political system do it either. Like, this is fucking insane. It's so crazy that, like, a person will literally get canceled for posting something about Charlie Kirk right now. But if you harm some children, you can live just pretty much a normal ass life. You just got to drop out of politics for like a year or two, and then you can come back later. It's fucking crazy.
I love the poorly educated.
All right, where are we at? We got some time. We're going to watch some videos. We haven't watched the video yet. Yeah, Kitty Johnson was 13. All right. Let's watch a video or two. Let's talk about the Chicago stuff. Actually, you know what? It's time for Titus. Woke Mike is probably gone already. No, there's Woke Mike right there. He's talking to Fatty. What the fuck is Kick? It's where you go to get prostitutes and crack cocaine, I'm pretty sure, Angela. Kick is another streaming service. And no, you guys do not have to go over to Kick and and sub to me there. Kick is kind of a crazy place. Kick is like when the internet was new and young. It's a weird place. All right. Let's watch some Titus, because Lord knows everybody needs some shit to laugh at. Everybody needs a cleanser, and Titus is the man. We all love Titus. Like, literally, he's one of the best things about this channel. It's not even me, it's just Titus, to be honest. All right, let's watch this.
I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Are you people digging the update? Do you like it? Should we keep doing it? I mean, do you like having a scream?
I get those comments too. You know my favorite comment I get from people? My favorite comment is the people that go, how the fuck did this shit show up in my feed? I'm like, you clicked it. Do you know how algorithms work, sir?
I love the poorly educated.
Like, bro, if you click and then comment on a video, you are going to get those types of videos sent to you more often. That is how the algorithm works. These people are geniuses.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Geniuses, guys. Geniuses.
Talking head yelling the news at you and having the Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. Are you people digging the update? Do you like it? Should we keep doing it? I mean, do you like having a screaming talking head yelling the news at you and having the arrogance to think that his opinion is the right one? Well, good. You're welcome then.
Dude, that's how I feel right now. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Like, I had an existential crisis. I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, am I even making anything better? I was like, could we get like a new Walter Cronkite or something? Can we get like one news media person to actually do the news so that way I can just go back to being a clown?
This week we had more nightmare from the worst president in American history. Let's start here. Turns out the birthday card that is in the Epstein book and claimed to be written by Sweet Potato Hitler is real. I know, he lied? What?
Dude. And it lasted all of about 13 seconds. No one cares. They don't care. They don't care that he's blocking the Epstein files. They don't care that he knew Epstein for all that time. They don't care that he wrote this in that book. They don't care. It's fucking crazy.
So the Epstein birthday book was subpoenaed, and the birthday card that he said didn't exist did. Ding. Duh. Bing. Here's the rough version of what was reported originally by the Wall Street Journal. And here is the actual birthday card. Notice anything? Bing, bing. The example is a picture of a woman. The picture that was actually in the book is a much younger woman.
Perhaps I'd be dating.
I just want to go after the pattern of this terminal canker sore on the lip of America.
I moved on her like a bitch. Grab him by the pussy.
And here's what he...
Who explains sexual harassment to you and me? Sexual harassment, panda.
He does. Part 1. It's reported that Trump did something horrible. You know, horrible shit that he did. Like called soldiers suckers and losers, screwed a porn star while his wife is pregnant, screwed people over at his fake college, then lost the case, lied on his taxes. 30
Pam Bondi, part of that case. It goes back, and it's all connected.
Actually assaulted and or raped multiple women, stole from a kid's cancer charity, said he wanted to date his daughter.
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
He lies about everything from his weight to his height to his education to his wealth. He tried to steal an election, and he asked them to find 11,780 votes.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
Then claimed...
Why does it sound like Donald Trump is yelling at his phone, too, from, like, across the room? Does Donald Trump... Is he one of those people that puts his phone on speaker and then puts it on the table and then leans over it and yells at the phone?
The virus is going to go away like a miracle.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
Took a jet from Qatar. You know, normal president shit. And this is a partial list. Second part of things he does. The news then loses its mind. They present evidence, video, recordings, witnesses that prove that the horrible, heinous things that we saw the president and heard him do, he did.
Dude, you got to know, too, that, like, the media probably feels so good when they do this, right? Like, they're like, yeah, like, we got it. This time we got him. For sure we got him. There's fucking no way that he's getting away with this. This is a watertight case. And then it just literally, it's like thinking you made a really good video and then you put it out and then it doesn't get any views and you're like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, that doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It's all good.
Because he fucking did it. Every single fucking one. Part 3. Then the head Oompa Loompa and his minions say it's a hoax.
Look, the whole thing is a hoax.
And this is their new hoax.
Democrat hoax.
It's a witch hunt.
This is a political witch hunt, the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. It's a pure witch hunt. It's a hoax. The greatest witch hunt of all time.
And he says this while the news is actually playing the video of him doing the horrible, never before done by...
Thanks for subscribing, Suzanne, and welcome.
A president thing.
Greatest witch hunt of all time.
And he says this while the news is actually playing the video of him doing the horrible, never before done by a president thing. Then, while we're all arguing, dude, that's you saying and doing the thing you say you didn't do. While you're doing that, he's cutting your health care, Social Security, starving children worldwide.
Fucking
then he gives that extra money in tax cuts to the people that already have enough money to buy, well, children. And then part 4. And then by the time we've actually got his ass nailed to the wall with all the evidence and the witnesses, he does something worse and we spin off to a new horrific abomination on everything that goes against humanity and God himself.
Facts. Fucking facts.
So, what do we do now? Well, just know that if someone said he did it, he fucking did it. If someone says the president kicked a puppy in the face while taking health care from said puppy...
Looks like Elon.
It's like legalized comedy.
Ended that puppy's Social Security, then sex trafficked that puppy's puppies. He fucking did it. Maybe hoax is just an acronym for horrible offenses accomplished expeditiously. Or heavy obese asshole excretes. That one sounds right. Anyway, you guys figure it out. Hoax. I'm Christopher Titus, and this is the Armageddon Update. I can't fathom that we keep buying this guy's bullshit. And the people that follow him are like, no, man, they just fucking parrot whatever he said. Sir, you have the gun in your hand. You shot the guy. No, that didn't happen. I did not shoot him. He ran very fast towards me, and the bullet was floating in air and went through him. Why is there smoke out of the gun? It's fog. It's a foggy gun. You want to fight?
That's the noise I make all the time. How are we doing this? This is the kind of shit that just makes me want to move off into the jungle. Like, just by myself, just with my books, just a couple firearms for protection, some books for reading, some food. Like, when you look at society collapsing in this manner, like, it's one thing for society to collapse in the way that we have portrayed in movies. Like, you know, the 2012 movie, like, where it's like hurricanes and tornadoes and an ice age and earthquakes and volcanoes. Like, all of that, like, you think about that and you're like, okay, I could probably deal with that, because you know what? Like, that's not, it's bad, but I can understand it. Like, okay, like, those are natural disasters, all right, okay? Or you watch movies where it's like, you know, World War III and somebody gets nuked or something, you're like, okay, that's crazy, but yeah, that could happen. I can see that, yeah. The one way in which this society or this world collapses that's probably the worst is this way. It's just stupidity. It's just dumb. It's just alternative facts. It's just a bunch of fucking people that are so ass mad that fucking Barack Obama, a black man, became the president fucking almost 20 years ago, that they'll now just cut off their own nose to spite their face. They'll vote against Medicaid. They'll vote against their own family members getting deported. They'll vote like anything and everything that a dude that has literally lied and stolen from the American people every day that he has been the American president. The only times that this man has not done that is perhaps, you know, the last couple of weeks when we think he's stroked out. And even then his stocks and bonds probably were still stealing from us. And he was probably lying while he was in sleep. He was dreaming of lying to us. This is the stupidest fucking way for a society to collapse. Rome, at least Rome, like, they went out like it was fucking American Party X. Thank you for the $5. I saw that, fan. And American X, if it is on there, you guys should watch that. American History X. Sorry, guys. If you haven't seen American History X, you should watch that shit. Thank you for the $5, fan. This is stupid. It's literally, like I said, at least Rome, like, it was like a big-ass party. Hedonism. Shit just fell apart. Like, every fucking Christian dipshit out there that fucking was like a nationalist asshole that was like, no, at the end of the day, guys, like, the transgenders and the gender nonconformity and all that stuff is just going to lead us to this, like, fucking collapse of society, and what's going to happen is, like, hedonistic, and, like, people are just, like, going to start fucking their cat and stuff like that. It's going to be like a dude marries a horse and shit, bro. Like, that was the prophecy. The MAGA hillbilly Bible prophecy was like the transgenders are going to marry their horses, and the horses are going to be fucking the cats, and then, like, a black dude's going to start hunting white people. Like, at any point when you're saying this as a MAGA supporter, does it ever click in your head that you're fucking insane? Ever? Look, I can accept empires collapsing. It's been happening for millennia. I can accept that eventually a society runs its course and it hits obstacles that it cannot surmount. But we literally came out of COVID as the strongest economy in the world, and Donald Trump has fucking just dive-bombed it off a cliff face first into the asphalt in like 8 months. It's hard to take that our society isn't going to collapse because of unavoidable consequences, but instead because of stupidity. And it's a slow death. It's fucking... Uncle Fatty, thank you for the 333. For those of you who don't know, there is a ongoing joke on my channel, and it goes all the way back, because Uncle Fatty is OG. All the way back to when, before my channel originally got banned for making fun of MAGA for being weirdos. Bullying and harassment. Years ago, we watched a QAnon video, and there was a QAnon guy that was living on a yacht, and I was like, how does this dude have a yacht? And I believe it was my stepbrother Redonk who said, that's a half yacht. And I was like, there's a half yacht? Like, I might be able to afford a half yacht. And then I believe I told my subscribers, all 6 of them at that time, y'all need to get to fucking work. I need to buy a half yacht. So thank you for the 333 for the half yacht, Uncle Fatty. You know I love you. Thank you so much, Fatty. All right, we got some other videos to go over. That was the Titus video. Let's talk about the Chicago stuff, because this is actually like good news, and we need some good shit. Oh, Suzanne, you're from Diane's channel. Suzanne, welcome. I love my 21st century suffragettes. Those ladies have made me stay on YouTube. You know that? If it wasn't for Diane and Five Eggs and Benny and all of you guys, I know that seems apparent that I wouldn't be here, but I would. I would literally just sit here. My early subscribers would tell you I will stream to almost nobody. I used to get on and like 4 people would be on. And it would just be like me, Bucket Kid, Golf Marine, Uncle Fatty, and Redonk. And we'd watch like the dumbest videos on the internet. And I want to get back to that one day. One day we're going to get there. What's up, Jonah? But yeah, so much love for the 21st century suffragettes. I fucking love them. All right. So let's watch this Chicago National Guard video from our dude, Adam Mockler. 1.54 million. Adam's killing it.
We have some breaking news that shows what happens when Democrats effectively push back. Donald Trump has been successfully outmaneuvered by Democrats in Illinois and announced that he is backing off the city of Chicago. To talk about this, I'm going to bring in the Secretary of State of Illinois in just one moment. But first, let me lay the groundwork, because just 2 or 3 weeks ago, Donald Trump posted this AI image. The President of the United States said Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War.
How else do you interpret that? Like, this is what drives me nuts, is the people that are like, the shit with Charlie Kirk is Democrats trying to cause a war in America, civil war, blah, blah. First of all, wasn't he a Democrat? Second of all, like, this is what your people fucking put out, dog. This is the kind of shit that makes me mad. This is the kind of shit that's like, all right, then fucking whatever you want, let's go. Because it's like, you're fucking gaslighting the shit out of people, dude. Like, you put out some shit like this, Chicago about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And then somebody gets smacked in their mouth, and you're like, hey, look what happened to the tolerant left, bro. This is why you get smacked. Like, it's so fucking crazy. It's insane.
And it's an image of my city where I live and work and run Mockler Media being invaded by our military. Incredibly inflammatory. And now Republicans have the goal to say that Democrats are the inflammatory ones because of some tweet with 0 likes or whatever. But either way, this article reads, Chicago...
Why is Adam Mockler got to call out the left for their tweets with 0 likes? That was low-key fucked up, Adam. He said a tweet with 0 likes. Like, I feel personally insulted. I think Adam Mockler might be talking about me.
Leaders are doing a victory lap on Friday after standing up to President Trump, who said he's backing off Chicago and sending troops to Memphis. Chicago's pushback could be a model for other cities. Here's the reality check. Chicago has seen a nearly 30% reduction in homicides and a 38% reduction in shootings since last year.
To all those gangbangers there, like, y'all show up here, you're gonna get that smoke. Trump was like, somebody was like, dude, like, we can't be sending people in there. Like, I told y'all, I'm like, you ain't ever send them to some place that actually needs them. Like, that shit'll result in some real fucking work happening. Like, you send them to, like, fucking Chicago and the bad areas and shit, that's gonna be all over the news for the next, like, ain't nobody gonna be talking about Charlie Kirk. Like, all they're gonna be talking about is all the people dying on both sides when you send the fucking National Guard into the shitty parts of Chicago. Like, this man is not about substance. He's about symbolism. He's only going to do things that look good for him where he can act like he's somebody, that he's a hard ass. He ain't no hard ass. He's Donald fucking Trump. The realest, most honest thing Donald Trump ever said in his life was he was on that Logan Paul Implausible or Impossible or whatever the fuck the name of their podcast is. And I think it was Logan or Jake, whichever one of those dipshits it was like, can you fight? And Trump was like, no, I can't. I've never been in a fight. And I was like, holy shit, that man just admitted it. And you know why he admitted it? Because the next thing he knew, Jake Paul would have been like, let's box. Jake Paul's like, how old are you? 70? Perfect. Let's get in the ring. Donald Trump saw Paul fight fucking every old man that has fucking even spoken up once about being able to fight, and Donald Trump was like, probably shouldn't say I could fight. Jake Paul will make like 500 million off me.
According to Chicago police data, Pritzker said this is illegal, it's inefficient. He held this press conference where he talked about Charlie Kirk just a few days back, and I'd say he might have had one of the best answers.
You don't have to express the sympathy to him because he's gone now. Good job, though, JB. Like I said, I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying this. When it comes to children, and a lot of people are going to give me shit for this, but I stand on business. These are my morals. This is my foundation. When it comes to kids, I got buddies that will, like, talk mad shit about, like, other people's children that, like, are bad people. And I'm like, I can't do that, man. It's just not for me. I can't do that. I feel for people's kids. I grew up in a fucked up way. I know what it's like to not have a father, by the way. But like, good job on JB. Like, way to be the adult. Way to be the adult. Another good job there by JB. Fucking good job. Solid job by JB right there. That is both calling out the rhetoric from Kirk himself and at the same time doing a really good job of not making it about him but about the problem. That's actually a really good job on JB's part. Mm-hmm.
Honestly, you couldn't ask for a better response from a Democratic politician.
Yeah, and it's, you know what's weird about this? Is like seeing somebody that's actually like being intelligent on the internet is like, it feels good. Like, it makes you actually feel better. Like, hearing a person speak intelligently. We're so used to all the dumbassery, all the buffoonery, all the like the boisterous language and, you know, the hyperbole. And JB Pritzker is doing that's a great job on his part.
Honestly, you couldn't ask for a better response from a Democratic politician. I'm now going to bring in Illinois' Secretary of State to break this all down. I hope you guys enjoy. Drop a like and watch until the end to support. Check this out. I am very proud to be joined today by Illinois Secretary of State, Alexi Janulius. How are you doing today, sir?
How are you? Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, I always enjoy chatting with you about the more local issues in Chicago, but lately Chicago has been a more national
Adam's from Chicago, right? I'm pretty sure he is from Chicago.
Issue, as Donald Trump has been directly attacking the city via AI Truth Social posts. We'll get to the national matters in just 1 second, but let's start a little bit more local. Illinois law prohibits the sharing of license plate reader data for immigration or abortion-related enforcement, yet your office and other offices in Illinois found some really interesting stuff in an investigation. Can you run us through what you found?
Oh, I wonder if they're going to start talking about the hacking of the phones and the use of, what is it, Stingray and the use of Paragon, I think, are the two programs that the government's using to hack people's phones and use the geolocation to swoop up what they consider to be immigrants, which apparently are old Irish women that didn't pay for a $25 check 30 years ago.
And what the consequences are.
Yeah, and frankly, I can't believe this hasn't gotten more national attention. Let me step back. We passed a couple years back the first bill in the country to make sure that automatic license plate reading technology does not track women who come into Illinois for legal abortions or for other legal purposes.
Why would that even be a question? Why would you need a law for that? I thought Republicans were the fucking government or the party of smaller government. Like, nothing says authoritarianism like using people's license plates to stop women from getting health care. Holy shit.
This is a huge deal. Automatic license plate readers do provide a service. They help law enforcement with kidnapping victims. They can help with carjacking, stolen vehicles. So there is a use for it. However, we saw this coming. We passed this bill to make sure that law enforcement would not use these for purposes which were not outlined by this legislation. And what we found was that law enforcement from Texas and from Border Patrol was actually reaching out to try and get information from these automatic license plate readers to track people. This is incredibly dangerous. This is like Big Brother on.
Yeah, what happened to states' rights? Remember these people? God, it's so dumb. It makes me hate doing this because I just want people to like have like real, actual, logical conversations about things. And it's like you're against the government taking away states' rights, right? Like, we can argue about the abortion thing until the fucking cows come home, but Republicans are almost always going to end in, well, it's states' rights. Okay, that's fine then. If you believe that, then you also believe that in this place, that's states' rights. Like, I just want to be able to have like an actual, real conversation with a person that isn't just like absolutely devoid of any logic.
Steroids. And so we found this out. We conducted an audit. We're looking into it. We hope other states also pass similar legislation.
Yeah.
Because this is, a huge issue.
It's a huge privacy violation in multiple ways. And I guess my question is, what enforcement tools are you pushing for to prevent future abuses like this?
Again, we've put in place systems to make sure this doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. That's why we conducted this audit. That's how we're able to find out this information. We're working with law enforcement here in Illinois to make sure that they do not give this information out. But again, more fundamentally, we have to make sure that these cameras are regulated so that they can't be used for surveillance purposes, to track the data of innocent people. It's horrifying to think that the government can find out when Adam goes to a movie or where he or she shops or when you go to visit a friend. And so especially in light of what's coming out of Washington, D.C., we want to make sure we protect people. And to me, and this is not just a Democrat or a Republican issue, everyone universally is horrified by the possibility that their personal privacy and their personal data will be violated.
But there's not going to be a single Republican that speaks out on it. I mean, Thomas Massey and Paul, 100%. I give them credit. They've spoken out. That's great. Okay. So there's not a third Republican that's going to speak out on this. And that's like I said, I just really wish we could get back to some sense of sanity. I really wish that we could get back to political conversations being about things that matter. And I wish that we could start using YouTube and the internet and all this other shit to get back to arguing about stupid, cultural, dumb shit like fucking whether or not a young person should be allowed to stream video games all day and make $2 billion. Like, this is just like we've gotten into this place now where questions that should be easily answered, like whether or not the government should be able to track you everywhere you go, is actually like you don't actually know how a MAGA Republican will respond to that. Like, you would think that from 6 months ago, 8 months ago, their rhetoric being what it was, that they would be against it. But now they're literally just full on okay with anything that Donald Trump wants to do to attract people. And obviously, it's also turning out that they're being affected by these things. And then when they actually do get affected by these things, then they get super mad. It's insanity.
That's why our bill is so important. I'm proud of the work we've done, but we cannot let law enforcement use this for immigration purposes, to track women who are coming to get abortions, or for any purposes outside of what's outlined to keep our roads and highways safe.
Yeah, whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you should be protected from any sort of surveillance misuse. And I'm very, very glad that you are leading the charge on that. It's especially crucial at a time when we're seeing more federal posturing towards the city of Chicago.
Thank you, Liz.
I want to talk a little bit about this because we can all start with the fundamental fact that crime is bad. The goal should be to minimize crime in any way possible through social programs, through funding our police departments. But that's not what Donald Trump is proposing. He's proposing a unilateral illegal occupation of Chicago. First of all, can you run me down how you think J.B. Pritzker the governor, has responded thus far? And Governor Pritzker's response has been, in my opinion, very solid because he's willing to coordinate and work with federal officials, but just not when Donald Trump is overreaching in this manner. So how do you read this and how are you thinking about this?
Wait, when isn't Donald Trump overreaching? That's my question. Like, is there a time when Donald Trump isn't overreaching? This motherfucker seems like he does it every day. Like, he compulsively overreaches.
Well, first of all, I give our governor a lot of credit. He's trying not to be partisan. He's saying, let's solve crime. Let's improve public safety in Chicago and throughout the state of Illinois. But let's do it in ways that actually move the needle. Let's use data. Let's make sure we do it in an efficient manner. And having the military roam the streets of Chicago does not create safety. It creates chaos, panic, mayhem. It's a colossal waste of resources, especially at a time when violent crime is down. Yes.
Remember waste, fraud, and abuse, guys? You guys remember when waste, fraud, abuse was it was a hot topic? And it's so funny, too, because we all agree that there is waste, fraud, and abuse. Like, they bastardized something that actually does exist and something should be done about it. And now, from this point on, if people bring up the terms waste, fraud, and abuse, people are going to, lose their fucking minds because they're going to remember that this is where people went with it, right? Like, you took something that actually was, a good idea. You took something that was actually pertinent to the problems with our government and the way that things are done, and you bastardized it. And now there's not going to be any coming back from this because when you use those terms now, people are just going to equate it with this time. You're sending the fucking National Guard into these places, the military into these places to stop crime in places where crime has already been reduced. And that's not to say that there isn't more that can be done. But those two things do not equate. You can't say that you're going to stop waste, fraud, and abuse and then use this insane amount of resources and money to combat such small things. Like, as a person who's been in management for 20 plus years, like, if somebody came to me with this idea, I would look at them and be like, cool, thank you for thinking about that, but no, we're not going to do that. Like, that's a bad idea.
Public safety source, chaos, panic, mayhem. It's a colossal waste of resources, especially at a time when violent crime is down. Yes, public safety is a huge issue in Chicago, but crime rates have gone down. So what we've said and what the governor has said is, why don't we focus spending resources and allocating resources to programs that are actually effective to increase public safety and to bring crime down?
Oh, he used too many words. 3 short grunts, bro. Yeah, change that to use funds. No, I was going to say effectively, but that's too many syllables. Use funds good. Use funds good. If you could probably do that, they might be able to do it, but they might not know what funds are. Use money good. Use money good. That's probably that's on point. I think we could get to MAGA if we use that chant.
The irony of this window dressing BS that Donald Trump is doing by sending troops here is he's actually cutting funding for programs like community violence intervention programs, which, by the way, work. That's based on data. Violent crimes have gone down, especially in these targeted communities. Carjackings have gone down, especially some of the work that we do with our task force.
Thank you, Rogan.
That looks at stolen vehicles, carjackings. To give you an idea, in 2021, there were about 1,800 carjackings. This year, we're at about 300 because of the work that we're doing, using data, using innovative technology, working with law enforcement and insurance companies, the private sector, to bring these rates down. And yet they're cutting funding for the programs that work just so he can do this nonsensical, dangerous window dressing of having troops storm up and down downtown Chicago, which is complete bullshit and does nothing to make our streets safer.
You know what I like hearing? I like hearing people talk like real human beings. And I love hearing this dude say complete bullshit. You know, sometimes I do. I get people in my comments that are like, you know, I like your content, but you curse too much. It's like, well, I'm a real person, man. I'm not a content creator. I'm not a politician. I'm not a talking head political pundit. I'm just a normal dude that grew up in a trailer park that fucking is gonna curse. And I personally like hearing people let loose and curse a bit because it's good. It lets me know that this person isn't like thinking about every single word they say. It feels good to know that these are their thoughts and they're free flowing and that he has emotion and he cares. Like, that's important.
Yeah, my team and I did the math, and California spent $120 million on the National Guard deployment that happened when Donald Trump did that a few months ago. And that $120 million would be enough to fund about 1,200 officers for a year.
Actually, I want to say something that Brett Rose just said, because this shit is like 100% on point. It's frustrating to see the right being at war with the left for a decade. The left has been in full retreat, throwing groups of people behind them to slow the right down. And that is what I stand against. That is everything I stand against. I don't want... There's people on the left that I disagree with. There's people on the left that I disagree with a lot. But I don't think that the things that we disagree on are potentially some reason for me to, you know, shoot them in the leg so that way I can run away and they can be, you know, caught by the right. It's like, we do agree on the same fundamental values. We are all pro-choice. We all believe that every human being should have equal rights. We believe that what's going on with ICE is bullshit. We believe that fascism and authoritarianism is wrong. We do believe that human beings, innocent human beings, should not be murdered by governments. But in everything I'm saying, there's some small difference in opinion that people have. And one of the reasons that I struggle sometimes to want to stay on here and continue doing what I'm doing is that oftentimes I see people in different parts of the left attempting to carve out lanes and keep people from being a part of what they consider is the left. And you do need lanes. Like, the military is ran with the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the National Guard. You know, the government has the FBI, the CIA, the ATF, the Secret Service. And the reason that you have all these different departments is because you need people that specialize in doing different things. It's tough to watch what I think people would consider liberal or establishment Democrats attempt to cut off what they consider dead weight in the party, because all you're really doing is you're just cutting off more and more numbers, and you're just losing more and more people that are going to vote for you that actually foundationally have the same beliefs as you. And it's like, I understand the impatience with people that won't get on the same page as you. I 100% understand that. I understand the conflict that creates. And I understand that every once in a while somebody's going to do something that gives you an L, right? Like that's sports for you, right? If you have a good team, every once in a while, let's use football, right? Every once in a while you got a cornerback. Asante Samuel was a great cornerback for the Patriots, and he played on the Eagles for a little bit. But Asante Samuel was a guy who would dive on a ball. He was a guy that when a ball was thrown, he would try and intercept it almost every time. And that resulted in him getting burned. So every once in a while, Asante Samuel would lose a game. And every once in a while, he'd lose a really fucking important game. And the almost immediate reaction to that would be cut Asante Samuel. Every single time, it would be like, get rid of this motherfucker. He lost another game for us. But Asante Samuel was also actually one of the best cornerbacks in football for a very long time. And he did contribute a lot to many wins. But oftentimes, the negative times stand out to people. And being a person that has been in management for a really long time, I do know that there are times when you cut bait with certain people or certain groups of people when they continually make you lose. But I don't see that as much as I think a lot of people do, because I think when it comes to making decisions like that, I'm a little more patient than most people, because I've been a part of success and I've been a part of growing young people into positions that people didn't feel that they should occupy. I've had employees that people didn't feel communicated well, but I understood that those people actually were really hard workers and that was something that we could work on over time. And I have many employees that have worked with me that when they first came through the door, a lot of people wanted them gone almost immediately because they didn't like the way that they did certain things. And I can tell you that now those people are huge contributors to the success of the companies that I run, or the company that I run. And I think that that's one of the things that's made it the hardest to continue doing this, is to continue to watch people fucking running from the zombies trip somebody right along with them that could have been helpful later, so that way they can get a little bit further and a little bit further out in front. So I really like that comment. Thank you, Brett. Thank you for that.
Chicago. This is obviously a hypothetical. The money doesn't translate from state to state, but the point is the money spent on this can be used in way more efficient
stop
means.
watching football.
The indicators of crime are, social programs or wealth inequality.
Exactly,
Never
Brett.
how much
Exactly.
military is deployed in a city. I want to ask, what was your reaction when you saw that AI image Trump posted of Chicago literally as a war zone? I don't even know how to put it into words.
It's crazy. And so as someone who has grown up in the city, who lives in the city, who's raising his family in the city, I care deeply about it. And so obviously I've got a lot of pride in my hometown, but also it's dangerous, it's reckless, it's stupid, it's offensive. Again, the decisions that I make as an elected official, and I'm proud of this, it's based on data. It's based on numbers. It's not my ideology that I don't want the National Guard here. It's as you mentioned, a colossal waste of resources that could be better spent implementing programs that actually move the needle, that actually help out, which have proven to help out. So at the same
Yep, that's exactly what Brett just said. You reduce crime by reducing poverty, full stop. 100%. And I can tell you that as a person who grew up poor. You reduce crime by reducing poverty. Crime is not a black problem. Crime is not a Latino problem. Crime is not a white problem. Crime is a poor person problem. You reduce crime by giving people incentivization not to commit crime. when I was young and I lived in the fucking ghetto and I didn't have anything, I was more likely to commit crimes because I did not have hope. I did not have anything to lose. And as I gained more and more things in my life, I became more and more unwilling to do things that could get me in trouble, which would result in the loss of the things that I had gained. One of the probably best examples is that I'm a very temperamental person. I get very angry. And when I would drive, people would piss me off, and I would definitely be not like the worst road rage person, but if you pulled over, I would pull over. And having children changed that about me, that now I drive much more calmly. If somebody's in front of me and they're driving slow, I just let that shit go. Because I recognize that if something happens and I allow my temper to get out of hand, then I potentially could either lose my life and my children could not have a father, or I could potentially take somebody else's life and I could end up in prison and my children would lose their father. You incentivize people from not committing crimes. You cannot punish people out of committing those crimes.
Time they're cutting these programs, he's going to send troops to
thanks for being here,
Chicago, which, by the way, per capita, if you care about data, which this president, who I think is actually illiterate, would even look at, they would say there are cities per capita that are a lot more dangerous, where crime is a lot more prevalent, both perceived and real, and yet he's only targeting blue cities.
Of course.
That's why this is just such window dressing, such BS. They're not doing their homework. They don't care. They do not care about crime. They do not care about public safety. They do not care about making Chicago a safer place to live and work.
Mountain bike, when you say, but some criminals, I think, like to be criminals, and to them, it's a profession. Now, to be honest, you said something right before that said that poverty being reduced is a good thing. So when we talk about people that are criminals for the fun of being criminals, generally we're talking about people that are successful, right? So if you're talking about like a mafia member or like a high level gang member or something like that, generally, yes, those people are going to be criminals no matter what, because they found the loopholes in the systems that allow them to be like that. Also, things like murder, right? Like that's more mental health than it is poverty. A lot of the crimes that I'm talking about are mostly like, breaking and entering, robbery, mugging, assault, things like that, right? Most of the more violent crimes like murder or serial killers and stuff like that, generally that's going to be something to do with mental health. So, yes, you're not going to just get rid of crime by reducing poverty. You also need to fund mental health services. So, like, there's so much to that. And then when you want to get to like white collar crime, a lot of that crime that's happening, which is extremely prevalent in our society, it's actually the access to too much wealth, too much connections. The idea that, once again, you aren't incentivizing a person to not commit crime because they have the money, wealth, and status to get away with committing that crime, right? So they're not incentivized because they don't have any fear of losing something. So, it's the same way we want to incentivize billionaires to take care of the populace by scaring the fuck out of them. Like, that is like something like that. You want billionaires to do the right thing because they know if they don't do the right thing, that eventually the working class will rise up and take back from them that which has been stolen.
What they care about is control. What they care about is bullshit optics. And what they care about is fear and keeping people where they want them to. The other point that I think the governor has done a really good job of making.
Yeah, sociopaths.
The troops themselves, the National Guard troops themselves, they were not trained to roam the streets and pick up garbage and do all this nonsense that Donald Trump wants them to do. Yeah. They are offended by this too. We've spoken to them. We've spoken to police. They don't want to be here either. That's not their job. So let's focus on programs that actually help move the needle.
Yeah.
Let's increase public safety. Let's bring crime down through mechanisms like our task force, which has a track record of recovering stolen vehicles, of reducing violent carjacking, and there are plenty of programs that do that. So I keep on trying so hard to find something that I agree with Donald Trump on. I want to. I'm like rooting for something just so I don't have to go to bed fucking livid every night. And I cannot. He does the opposite of every single thing that I think would make us a better city, better state, better country, better democracy, better planet. And I hope today something happens or he proves me wrong.
Thank you, Secretary. Just know that we appreciate all of the work you and the governor do. The on-the-ground work the investigations that you guys conduct into these license plate readers, all of this stuff is incredibly important. Donald Trump thinks he can override that with executive power, but he can't. You guys are doing the real work. So again, thank you. And I'd love to have you back on soon.
Thanks, brother. Great to see you.
Fucking wonderful. Good job, Adam. And like I said, some people don't like the way Adam does his thing, and I understand that. But we need him in the lane that he's in. He does very well at what he does. Let's see. Somebody said... Mountain Bike said, Angry Ginger, I think the rich should have to pay more in tax and stuff because, like you say, they have much more to lose. Yeah, I think they should want to pay more in taxes, actually, because as Aristotle said, if that wealthy people will exist no matter what, but a welfare state must exist as well to take care of the working class, or else eventually the working class will rise up and take from you that which you have stolen from them. That is fucking 100%. Try plugging it in. Alcohol abuse and mental health is also related to poverty. Yeah, I've been saying this a lot lately, that people oftentimes talk about taking care of their body, but do not take care of their brain. Look, I drink alcohol. I drink tequila and water, and I drink... I don't smoke anymore, but I smoked ganja for 20 plus years. I've done plenty of drugs in my life, alcohol, I've smoked cigars. A lot of people, I don't think, realize that by just taking care of your body and not taking care of your brain, that really all you're doing is getting yourself to a point where you're going to be older and you're going to degenerate faster. So you're going to live longer, but have less faculties, right? So, yeah, I do. I've told my kids, I'm like, don't be like me. Like, don't drink. You shouldn't drink. I'm like, you're just going to inhibit the growth of your your frontal lobe. You shouldn't smoke. You shouldn't drink. And I know I sound like a hypocrite because I do those things, but I want better things for my children. And I think more parents should be more open and truthful with their children and explain that, one of the reasons I drink alcohol and do as much as I do is because I'm addicted. Because at the end of the day, I may not be a everyday, alcoholic that drinks alcohol all the time, but I do still drink weekly, and the reason I do that is because I am addicted. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying that to people. I think it's important to say those things, and especially important to say to your children. I would rather my children grow up without the addictions that I formed at an early age. I've been drinking since I was 12 years old, I feel like I'd be failing if I wasn't being honest about those things, because those do also add to mental health problems and also add to poverty as well. $5, thank you. Trump's border hate is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Treat them like criminals and they can't get a job or pay taxes. Documentation is the only answer. 100%. And I agree with you. I agree with you on that one. Like by 1,000,000% is like, it's not like... Immigrants add so much to our country, and we're already seeing with the produce prices jumping 39% in July. Lots of immigrants aren't going to work because they're afraid of being deported. The effect on the country is fucking chilling, to be honest with you. It's scary because they are the backbone of our society. And if you're on the right and you're making the argument, well, I thought you didn't want, people to work for slave wages and stuff. No, you're right. We should meet in the middle. We should say that we should form a path to get these people into the country to do the jobs that they have been doing and make sure that they get the things that all of us want. The immigrants also should get health care. Immigrants also should get Social Security. Immigrants also should be able to take care of unemployment or take advantage of unemployment, as long as people are here and they are working and they are not committing bad crimes, not fucking, the stupid crimes that Donald Trump is deporting these people for. Then they should be given a path to get citizenship in a relatively fast manner. Like, that's the problem. The problem is the speed in which immigrants can become citizens of the United States. That's the real fucking problem in this country, and nobody wants to talk about it. They want to talk about it like it's open borders versus closed borders. That is not the truth. Everything in life is fucking balance. Balance. Let's talk about the big elephant in the room here. We have for-profit prisons. That's right there is a huge part of the problem. We have people who can make money off jailing others. Yep, exactly, Brett. 100%. There should be no money in prisons. There should be no money in healthcare. And here's one that some people will get pissed at me for. There should be no money in education. Those should not be for profit. We shouldn't be profiting off of whether or not we can jail human beings and use them as slave labor. We should not be profiting off of whether or not a woman should or should not get her breast cancer taken care of. And we should not be profiting off of whether or not people are getting educated in this society. Those are all things that should be paid for by my fucking taxes. Those are every single American, whether they're MAGA Republican or fucking progressive liberal or whatever you want to call them, should have free access to health care, and they should have the opportunity to get a good paying job. And that means things like free education, whether it's 2 to 4 years of college with the potential of going further if a person shows promise, or if it's trade school. Like, I am all for opening up free education to trade school as well. And we should all feel like the only people that are going to prisons that are legit actually being kept in prisons are people that cannot exist within the society and be a not even productive part, just not be a unproductive negative part. Like people that are going to harm children, or people that are so mentally ill that they are going to, take the lives of others. Like if a person has a drug problem, then yes, your tax dollars should pay for them to be rehabilitated, because if they get back into the workforce and they produce, then it's better for everybody. Your tax dollars, yes, should pay for things like, a person that potentially has unpaid parking tickets. Like, fuck that. Like, you should be against that person going to jail and costing us more money. Like, there should not be a debtor's prison. There isn't, but there is. There isn't and there is. There's so many things out there that, I watched people go to jail over marijuana, go to jail and come out with fucking swastikas on their bodies. I watched kids that went to jail over some bullshit. CYA. When I say jail, I mean the California Youth Authorities camps. Go there and become radicalized by the environment and come out being worse than who they were when they went in. Like, that is a net negative. There's nothing positive. I would go further. There should be no profit for basic services like power, water, heat, etc. Those should be tax funded. I agree with that as well. I also think that internet access, because of the fact that it is so important today that you have internet access to get jobs, to get information, to be up to date on what's going on, to know about things like natural disasters and stuff like that. I'd go even further and say that, yes, the internet as well should be subsidized by the government. I don't think that, we should be saying to a person that they shouldn't get access to information, even if it's shitty, fucked up information. Wait, what am I reporting you for? Please go ahead and report me. I could care less. Google doesn't actually give a fuck. They ban accounts, not IP address. It takes 5 minutes to make a new email and YouTube account. What are you getting reported for, Fan? Fan, what are you doing? Addiction is a common trait of being a human. Everyone is addicted to something, even if it's only being able to breathe. Are you addicted to breathing? I am, in fact, addicted to breathing. I will not report you for that either, Fan. I, in fact, will not report you for that. All right, I'm actually going to call it a little bit early tonight. It's been a fucking tough week, guys. Oh, man. I just want to say this before you guys go. I want to say this to you guys. Log off. Go do something fun. Watch a movie. Read a book. Hang out with your kids. Play with your dog. Go for a walk. Talk to your wife. Do something other than looking at all this Charlie Kirk shit, man. What will be, will be. You got to let the universe sometimes come to you, man. Sometimes, we spend a lot of time, because humans are a control species. We want to feel in control. And we think that we're in control by being up to date by the second of everything that's going on. No, man. Let the universe do what it's going to do. Be good, do good, good things happen. I know it doesn't always seem like that, but it does. So go touch grass. Log off. Stay away from social media. Stay away from fucking X. Holy shit, that place is fucking toxic. It's cancer. Log off. Shit, if you feel like you got an addiction problem with it, delete your accounts. But make a firm, positive choice for yourself and disengage from what's going on right now. It's not worth it. Spend your time doing something more productive. We get one life. Don't waste it fighting with people that don't give two shits about you as a human being. Oh, Ginny. Holy shit, Ginny. Thank you. Thank you for $50. Thank you, Ginny. That's crazy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. Don't need to say a word about me. It's you, dude. Don't stop. I hear every word. Always spot on. Thanks. Ginny. Nah, it is about you guys. It is about you guys, because I wouldn't be here without you guys. So I appreciate the shit out of you guys. And I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys. So thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you. Next show will be Wednesday. Fuck, there'll be so much information by Wednesday. But next show is Wednesday. I'll try to cut up some of the stuff that I did today and last Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know how much of it's going to be useful because I've been so exhausted, and so much of it is just really not worth rehashing, to be honest. I'm not going to redo any of this Charlie Kirk shit. I'm not going to put it back out there for people to see. I need to stop feeding into this monster. So yeah, I appreciate you guys. Next show will be Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. Love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I will see you next time.